I'm Nick DeLuca. Laker changes continue. The Buss family selling their remaining 17.8% ownership stake in the Lakers to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. Once the transaction is completed, Jeannie Buss will no longer be the team's governor, has been at the controls of the team since taking over for her late father Jerry in 2013. Sale still will need approval from the NBA's board of governors. College football preseason rankings are in. Ohio State and Oregon 1-2 in the AP top 25, giving the Big Ten the top two teams in the preseason for the first time in 65 years and just the second time ever. Ohio State will go into a season ranked number one for the ninth time, first time since 2015. Georgia, Notre Dame, and Texas rounding out the top five. Monday baseball getting going. The Cards and the Reds in a makeup game in Cincinnati. St. Louis up 2-1, bottom eight. Alec Burleson two-run double. The only scoring for the Cards. He homered and drove in 4 yesterday.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we continue to get you ready for the NFL regular season as we go two-a-days with the Atlanta Falcons and Miami Dolphins and tell you which team is closer to turning it around. It's on Sportsmanlike 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Is that Matt?
Hey, Will.
Hey, bud.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Braxton Raruda.
There goes Braxton.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Former St. John Stinchcomb in about 15 minutes. He was on the call for Saints Jags Saturday afternoon in the Dome. Brooks Austin, maybe the most popular guest we had on at SEC Media Days, a.k.a. the film guy. He dropped a video last week, his film study of Sam Levitt. He'll be with us a little more than an hour from right now to break it all down. But let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Football Tigers were back on the practice field Monday out at the McClendon practice facility. Saturday was a big day for LSU. They had a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. Lane Kiffin told us Monday it was 170 plays. So they had a long workout, more than 2 hours in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. So they had the day off on Sunday. Well, I guess there's no such thing actually as a day off in camp, but they weren't on the field Sunday. We'll put it to you that way. So they were back on the field Monday morning, full pads, in the heat, full squad workout. And maybe most notable were some of the absences. Ed Ogeron was not in attendance. I did ask Lane Kiffin about Coach O after practice, and he gave a very brief answer. Can you play this from his number 3?
Yeah, he wasn't feeling real well. We sent him home, and so we expect him to be back soon.
Okay, that's great news. For what it's worth, we did report over at LouisianaSports.net that Coach O was not at the scrimmage Saturday either. So whatever the not feeling well is a multi-day thing here, but hopefully Coach O's back out there tomorrow night. We'll see what all goes on there. But again, it's a long workout Saturday in Tiger Stadium. So on top of Coach O not being there, Harlem Berry, Malik Blockton, Jordan Ross, J.D. LaFleur, all were not there as well. I did ask Lane Knight. He's very clear. He's not going to talk about injuries. But I didn't ask the question about injuries. I just said, those guys weren't there. Can you give us an update on those guys? This is what he said.
No, they both should be fine.
He is just not super keen on giving any type of tidbit there. But for what it's worth, so if we get access to practice, and I go to practice, and Harlem Berry and Jordan Ross and Coach O aren't there, I'm going to ask the coach why those guys aren't there. And he doesn't have to answer it. He can be as dismissive or secretive as he wants or as forthcoming as he wants. But it's my job to go ask the question. So I had no problem asking the questions. So anyway, but here's hoping, as an aside there, I did have many conversations after the scrimmage on Saturday and Sunday with people who were there, and it seems like they came through it very healthy, which is a great thing. I mean, if you looked around the SEC this weekend, South Carolina lost 2 receivers for the season. Bama had a couple of injuries. Tennessee lost a starting safety for the season. I mean, or for at least half the season. I mean, those are the things you want to avoid in camp, and it looks like LSU did, coming out of the scrimmage, avoid all that. And look, you go have 170-play scrimmage and some guys are bumped and bruised and nicked and sprained and strained or whatever. Yeah, like, give them some time. So LSU practiced Monday morning, and they'll be back on the field Tuesday evening. So that'll be 72 hours from the scrimmage. So that'll actually be, and we get our customary 2-3 periods. So that'll be a good gauge to see if these guys are back then. Some other good news, Jace Brown and Winnie Watkins, who were in gold no-contact jerseys last week, were in their white offensive uniforms. If you're not familiar, the offense wears white, defense wears purple. The quarterbacks and players that are injured wear the gold no-contact jerseys. So Jace Brown, Winnie Watkins back out there in white. That was great. Jabari Mack and Trey'Dez Green continued wearing gold. Lane did say after practice today that they kind of gave Trey'Dez the day off. Now, he was out there, and so in the pitch and catch portion that we got to see, he was running routes. But Lane effectively said, like, when they went team, Trey'Dez just sat out. They're like, go sit down. So I think one thing that is very clear about what Lane Kiffin is doing and how they're managing reps, I've come to realize this about Lane. Like, everything he does is intentional. There's nothing that is by mistake or happenstance or that is random. Like, everything has some thought behind it, which is really exciting. Even to the point where if there's a day where you can steal 30 reps and you're counting every rep a player gets, and the day-night thing gives you more recovery time, and so, like, if you're Trey'Dez and you didn't do any team stuff on Monday after the scrimmage, and then you don't really go again until Tuesday evening. You understand? Like, I think all of that is very calculated. Because Hunt and I usually divide and conquer at practice. He'll go watch offense, I'll watch defense. Because Hunt wasn't there today, I just kind of sat in the middle of the 4 fields, like where the cross meets of the 4 fields, so I could just sort of see everything as best I could. There wasn't a lot to see defensively except for taking attendance, because they didn't even do the 11-man pursuit drill, so it was just all, hitting bags and stuff like that. The offensive line, they were doing sleds and individual work. Nothing really to report on the offensive line. So I spent the bulk of my time watching the quarterbacks and receivers. It was interesting because it was a pretty uneven day for Sam Leavitt today. For example, they first started throwing the ball to the tight ends, and he threw the first 2. Each quarterback threw 2 passes to the tight ends. So he threw to Trey'Dez and then to Zach Grace, the transfer from Oregon, and he missed both of them. When you're throwing against air and there's no defensive back, there's no pass rush, there's no crowd, there are no variables to interrupt your throw. Like, you never want to see a ball hit the ground. And so I think, like, the ball hit the ground too much for my liking. Now, the other part that's worth mentioning, okay? We get to watch, like, 12 to 15 minutes, all right? They probably practiced for 2 hours. We didn't get to see any 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. So it's quite possible that Sam Leavitt went out there and just crushed it today, but we didn't get to see any of that. All I can do is tell you what I saw with my eyes. So it was not great at the beginning. He missed the 2 throws to the tight end. They ran a couple of sideline routes. He overthrew Trey Wilson. He underthrew Winnie Watkins, a couple of incomplete passes. And then they went from the 30 in. So they were throwing slant routes from the 30, and then they went to the 10-yard line and were throwing passes into the end zone. Well, he hit his next 6. So he like, no more hit the ground from that point on. He completed every pass the remainder of the practice. So it was a little uneven. It started not great. It finished really strong. Huson Longstreet, I charted 10 of his throws, and he completed all of them. One thing that's also pretty obvious is that the reps are starting to be pared down. Like, Sam Leavitt's getting all of his reps. Huson Longstreet's getting the bulk of what's left, and then Landon Clark gets a rep here or there. Like, when they threw to the tight ends, they each got 2 reps. for the rest of the period, as I was watching them and charting throws, they moved down the field, I charted one more rep from Landon. So 3 reps from Landon Clark in the 12 minutes that we got to see. So it's obvious, right? Like they're paring down the reps at this point to make sure the guys that are going to play are getting the majority of the reps and the lion's share of those reps. So that was kind of it. As we were walking out, Lane Kiffin, Ever the Troll, they always blare music during practice. They were playing Rocky Top, blaring Rocky Top, the lyrical version as well, not the Tennessee band, like the actual song. And LSU, of course, plays in Tennessee this year for the first time since 2017. It'll be Lane Kiffin's first trip back to Knoxville with LSU, his second trip back. Of course, he took Ole Miss there a few years ago, notably with the mustard and ketchup bottles and the golf balls being thrown on the field. And then, so playing Rocky Top. And then also there were, this is pretty common, there are always NFL scouts at practices. So I saw Saints, Niners, Giants, Packers, Raiders, Cardinals, Texans out at practice today watching LSU. So a good day of work for the Tigers with what little we got to see. A little bit of a recovery day yesterday, full padded practice today. They'll practice Tuesday evening out on the Ponderosa, and, of course, whatever we see out there, we'll report to you. Okay, it is After Further Review. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Y'all, football season's upon us. Saints had their first preseason game. LSU steamrolling toward the opener against Clemson on September the 5th. You're going to be watching football. Make sure you drink easy and toast with your friends with the great taste of Bud Light, available in the officially licensed LSU cans and aluminum bottles and the officially licensed Saints cans as well. So make sure you pick up Bud Light at great local retailers and drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, and the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. Speaking of your New Orleans Saints, Who-Dats opened up preseason on Saturday in the Dome. John Stinchcomb was on the TV call. He'll join us next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime up. Sister-in-law actually sent me a text on Sunday and said, hey, who's the AC company you always talk about? Our AC's out and it's unbearable and we have to get it fixed. So River City's 1 Hour Air. So I tell you all the time, it doesn't matter if it's nights, holidays, weekends. They'll always come out nights, holidays, and weekends. So if your AC goes out on a Saturday or a Sunday and it's a heat index of 110, you don't have to sit in a hot house for the rest of the weekend until someone can come see you on Monday. Just call River City's 1 Hour Air. Big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 Hour Air. And remember, when there are technicians on the way, you're going to call, a text, and an email alerting you the text on the way with name, photo, and reviews of that technician. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
People think it's all about game day.
Let's go!
But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Fun game. I think it was a fun battle with those guys. Love the way our guys competed. When you add what we did this last few days with Jacksonville from a joint practice to this preseason game, I felt like we had some really good work, and so feel like we got some good stuff out of this, and our guys are going to be able to grow and learn from it.
Kellen Moore after the Saints preseason opener against Jacksonville. The good guys lost 24-20. They gave up 18 unanswered, but there was a lot of good from Saturday's preseason game. John Stinchcomb was on the call. He's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, John, thanks as always, man. How are you?
I'm great. Glad we're watching real football now.
Right. Did you like joint practices?
It depends on who they were against. When we went up to Cincinnati and practiced against the Bengals, those were all, I thought, very productive practices, and they also practiced at a different tempo that was welcomed, and it was much cooler. Now, we went out to Houston, and they just turned into barroom brawls almost instantly, so those weren't quite as enjoyable.
Why did I think the Saints and Jags behaved themselves, it seemed like, but why do those joint practices always seem to end up in fights?
Well, I think it's a little bit of machismo. You get out there, and first off, practice is always a little bit chippy just because that's the nature of the beast, but you don't give an opponent the benefit of the doubt. So if you're in the middle of a drill and one of your teammates gets his hands high, you let them know about it. If it's somebody that you don't know and you don't share a locker room and they do the exact same thing, then it escalates a little bit quicker.
Got it. Okay. Look, I think Saturday we'd agree there was a lot to like, especially from jump. I'm curious, John, how many. Let's start here. How many spots on the 53 would you say, like, realistically are up for grabs? Like, is that something guys talk about in the locker room?
Yes, and I think less talk and more awareness. And this year, obviously, the situation is better than it was a year ago. You've got a lot more answers, especially across the ones, than what you had heading into that 25 season. So you're looking more at depth and situational play rather than who's our starters in those spaces. I think the Saints have done a great job of adding some valued free agents in positions of need. And I think so far it's been a positive indicator as to how they've done in the draft, at least addressing some other areas that they could have supplemented. So I think there is awareness. You look at the number of guys that didn't play in preseason game number 1, and it was a much longer list than I was anticipating. And I think that's probably a message to that team of there are some folks that have fairly secure spots already.
Okay, let me ask you about a guy who the stats are obvious from Saturday. Like Mike Hellman comes up with a couple of sacks, TFL. Like he's been the talk of camp defensively as far as the UDFAs. What, like the stats are obvious, but what is impressive to you about him, John?
Well, obviously his effectiveness. We actually mentioned him the play before he gets a sack where he dropped into coverage, and that's not going to be his forte. I mean, he needs to be an edge rusher, setting the edge. I thought he was as good against the run as he was in the pass, and he came away with 2 sacks. So when you're a player like that, and you talk about a difficult place to make a roster, look at the number of players in front of them that didn't even dress. That includes obviously Chase Young and Cam, who's coming off some hamstring stuff, but Grando and Anthony and Tyree now. So that is going to be a challenging place to kind of make your mark, and he made the most of that opportunity, which is all you can ask for some of these guys that were able to get out there and play. You're trying to be memorable in a positive way, and Heldman certainly did that.
Was there anybody else defensively that you thought did that?
Well, Jaden Price was another guy. I mean, just that was not – if you're just drawing X's and O's, I thought it was a really heady play, him understanding the situation and where they were going to go with the ball, of him sagging into a place where he could make a play and make an interception right there. I thought Emerson helped himself. I mean, he showed up pretty consistently. I thought Nelson on the other side of Heldman did well. I went back and watched some of the film, and Kristen Miller I thought was really good against the run. So there were some spots, especially defensively, where you're going, okay, you've got my attention.
Yeah, I don't know how much stock or attention you pay to Pro Football Focus, but you just mentioned 3 of the 4 highest-rated players from the game with Price, Emerson, and Miller. So sometimes the stats do match the eye test. And you side. Are you not a PFF guy?
Well, no, I don't need them to tell me how a player played. I'd rather trust my own eyes.
Sure. So it's just an interesting gauge sometimes, like to see. Like I always say, it's not the metric, it's just a metric. It's just something to consider, and it's interesting sometimes whenever it does match up with the eye test, or if it aligns or doesn't align, or whatever the case may be. John Stinchcomb's with us. What do you think about the backup quarterback battle? Where I don't know, John. I mean, you would know better than I, but it seems like Rattler had a stranglehold on it. But very clearly, Zach Wilson played better on Saturday. What does all that mean for the backup quarterback race?
Well, I think it means that the coaches have a bigger pool of data to pull from than we do. And based on the limited exposure that we have, which is one preseason game, I think pretty clearly Zach Wilson made the most of his opportunities. And you're excited that he's a super talented guy. You're talking about a previous second pick in the draft caliber talent. So, if he were to be able to get it all together and have the opportunity to develop and maximize that potential, I don't know if there's a player out there with a higher ceiling with lower expectations. So I think there's real opportunity for him. And with that said, everything that I've heard about Saints training camp so far has been singing the praises of Rattler and the fact that he's managed all the situations thrown at him, especially the joint practice in Jacksonville include that. So, we have a smaller sample of data than what the coaches are going to use to evaluate these players. But, you can't ignore the fact that Zach went out and had himself a day.
He and Bub Means have had a great connection actually all throughout camp so far, and it carried over into the game. Bub Means had 4 catches for 77 yards. John, do you think there's room for a 6th receiver on the roster?
That's a great question. I think that the seasons are long, and if anything, you have to have 6-7 guys specifically at that position that you can trust and you can rotate in. I don't know who they can stash on practice squad, but we've seen it year in and year out where guys may not make that initial 53, but they certainly factor into the equation down the road. And when you invest 3 draft picks in one specific position group, it makes things a little bit harder. But there was a number of vets or familiar names to the Saints organization, some guys that have been around a year and some 2 that I thought helped themselves and had a good day and maximize that opportunity that they were given.
I got to ask you about your position group. Although, John, I don't know what spots are up for grabs. I mean, it seems like first time in forever, we know what the offensive line is going to look like because of all the investment they've made. Anybody catch your eye Saturday?
Well, I got to notice a little bit of Jeremiah Wright just because so much has been made of his physicality and his hands. And then, obviously Torricelli Simpkins had that one play that he got beat fairly quick and gets pressure on the quarterback. And you're aware of those things. But I think that's you're looking at depth, and with Radins going down, that number 6 offensive lineman spot's up for grabs. And you're confident in that starting 5, but you look at historically, Saints have kind of struggled keeping that same 5 available for an entire season. So you're going to need number 6, 7, and potentially 8 ready to go and able to contribute. I think there's opportunity there. I'm not sure that they, I think that's written in pencil right now as to what that looks like on who you carry and where they plug in. And I think that's probably why it seemed very timely that Ruiz was getting some center work, because potentially if it's you feel more comfortable with your 6 playing guard, you could bump Ruiz to center, and rather than just having number 6 fill in, whether it was guard or center that goes down.
Yeah. John, are you going to be out in L.A. for the game against the Rams?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That way.
Awesome. So this coming up Saturday, of course, it'll be Saints-Rams. It's a 3 o'clock afternoon, Central Time afternoon kick there from SoFi. We'll be locked into it. John, we appreciate the time as always, man. Thank you so much for making a few minutes for us.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yep, it's our pleasure. Former Saint John Stinchcomb, Super Bowl champion. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Hancock Whitney Bank, the official banking partner of the New Orleans Saints and the official banking partner of the LSU Tigers. Love my relationship with Hancock Whitney Bank. I've mentioned it pretty much every day that they have been my bank for as long as I've had a checking account. And if you're interested, you can get up to $600 after opening freestyle checking and freestyle savings accounts and meeting requirements. Just go to HancockWhitney.com/Matt to get started. My name, HancockWhitney.com/MATT, HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Minimum deposit, account opening balance, and other requirements apply. You can learn more at HancockWhitney.com. Member FDIC. They've been committed to the Gulf Coast and Gulf South communities for 125 years. Y'all named one of America's best banks by Forbes each of the last 5 years. It's Hancock Whitney Bank. Remember, you can use the great mobile app, and you can be a card-carrying member of the Who Dat Nation or of Tiger Nation for the Saints and LSU officially licensed cards. You can check them out at HancockWhitney.com/Matt, HancockWhitney.com/MATT. All right, y'all, rolling along here. Glad you're hanging out with us on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows, proud partner of LSU Athletics. Well, now I got a break, go around the SEC. We opened the show with a little tidbit on LSU's practice today, and one of the things we mentioned was how it seems like LSU came out of the scrimmage on Saturday avoiding any major injury, which is awesome. And it's great news because, man, you look around the conference and there are plenty of examples of people and teams that did not avoid those major injuries. We'll talk about that a bit as we go around the SEC. And the preseason AP Top 25 is out. I'll tell you a few takeaways when we continue. Stick with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. The Renaissance Baton Rouge is gorgeous, and it is the best place in Baton Rouge to host an event. If you've got a fundraiser, if you've got an awards banquet, maybe you've got a wedding reception. Convenience, location, amenities, check, check, check. Renaissance Baton Rouge checks all those boxes. Allison Crump, she's the event coordinator at Renaissance and at Watermark. So if you're interested in hosting an event, call over to Renaissance or to Watermark and ask for Allison. But look, Renaissance is right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. It's across the street from Perkins Row and Mall of Louisiana, so super convenient access to restaurants and to dining and shopping and so many awesome things in that area. But then, of course, they've got so much meeting space, up to 500 people in the grand ballroom and anything in between. It's right there on Bluebonnet. Check them out today. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth.
Friends over at Insurance Network of Louisiana, better coverage for less money. It's something that I say literally every day and have for years. Process is so easy when you call Insurance Network of Louisiana. I can't imagine a reason not to call, because what they do is they use their relationships, right? And they've got relationships with dozens of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. And they shop to find you better coverage for less money. You may have a great relationship with your current insurance provider, but if they work for State Farm or Allstate or Liberty Mutual, like, your local agent can only get you rates from that company. When you call Insurance Network of Louisiana, they shop dozens of companies so you save. Better coverage for less money. Home, auto, business insurance, if it's your commercial auto, if it's workers' comp, whatever type of insurance you're carrying on your business, better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, rolling along here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. The AP Top 25 is out. LSU preseason number 11. Lane Kiffin, when he met with reporters, was asked what he thought about being ranked 11th in the preseason AP Top 25. This is what Kiffin had to say.
I don't think anything of it, and that's just not coach speak. I mean, I've been parts of where we've been low a year ago and finished really high, and where we've been really high and finished really low. So, now more than ever, it really shouldn't mean anything. I mean, we don't know as coaches, let alone media or coaches know other teams, because we barely know our own team how we'll play, because you have so many new players. There's no way you could figure it out, and I haven't studied it because there's no reason to, but I bet you analytics from the last 2 years of polls and where people have finished compared to where they start probably have been a long ways off compared to years ago, I guess.
By the way, there is a little research out there. Had tipped to Brett McMurphy from On 3. So in 2025, just 1 year ago, this is the list of teams that started in the top 25 and finished last year unranked. Not like started in the top 10, finished outside of the top 10. This is the list of teams that started the season ranked and finished the season unranked. Number 2, Penn State. Number 4, Clemson. Number 9, LSU. Number 11, Arizona State. Number 12, Illinois. Number 13, South Carolina. Number 15, Florida. Number 16, SMU. Number 17, Kansas State. Number 22, Iowa State. Number 24, Tennessee. And number 25, Boise State. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, damn near half of the preseason top 25 finished the season unranked. There has never, in the history of this sport, and this is not hyperbole, Literally, there's never been more ambiguity going into seasons than now because of the roster turnover. You used to be able to just guess and default to teams like Ohio State and Alabama or LSU and Penn State because you just had years on top of years on top of years on top of years of great recruiting. Now, every year you lose a third of your roster. Every year you lose a third of your roster. So if you're, and at places like LSU this year, it's even more. So if you're turning over that much, like, I'll give you an extreme example, but Fernando Mendoza comes from Cal to Indiana, wins the national championship and the Heisman Trophy. Like, nobody predicted. I don't even know if Fernando Mendoza had freaking odds last year in the preseason to win the Heisman. But all of that has created so much, it's made it so much more difficult to try to make educated predictions. Even things like, look, the blue chip ratio last year got blown up. I mean, Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio last year got eviscerated, finally, because of Indiana. Like, it's just, like, the best, I'll give you, like, Ty Benefield. We're all talking about Ty Benefield being a potential All-American safety. He was a 3-star coming out of high school. He wouldn't count toward LSU's blue chip ratio, which is an absurdity beyond measure. He was all Mountain West. He's a 6'3", 220-pound wrecking ball at safety. He looks awesome. But you're telling me, like, according to that, you wouldn't get credit for it. So all these metrics just have not caught up with how to judge and prognosticate in college football right now. So preseason top 25 is out. It's, of course, going to be so wrong. LSU is number 11 in the preseason top 25. Ohio State and Oregon 1-2 in the preseason ranking, and so we'll keep an eye on it, as they move throughout. But all it does is just give you a number next to the teams for the opening weekend of college football games. But I've never actually liked the fact that we do a preseason poll because I think it does create inherent bias. The flip side that I'll say is that it mattered way more when the poll was used as part of the BCS rankings. The fact that the polls quite literally are not used for anything anymore makes this just an irrelevant exercise and something that if you want to pay attention to, it can be fun to do, but it really just doesn't matter for anything except the little number on the TV screen when they tee it up and kick it off on September the 5th. So Tigers will be 11 whenever they take on Clemson in the opener on September 5th. If you're wondering, as we look at the rest of the preseason top 25, Clemson is down near the bottom of the preseason top 25. Actually, forgive me, Clemson's unranked. My apologies. I thought they were somewhere near the bottom, but Clemson unranked in the preseason top 25. So it'll be number 11 LSU against unranked Clemson in Tiger Stadium. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We are brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU athletics. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. That's where you can go to learn more. Of course, the LSU athletes trust the Lake. The LSU Student Health Center, the Lake has the contract there. And then everyday champions like you and me for our daily health care. If it's pediatrics, if it's cancer, if it's heart, stroke, all the specialties, you can get world-class care right here at home. Also, big hat tip, y'all. Capital Gala was this weekend. It's Capital Gala Best Dress, which benefits the Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Institute. One of my favorite events annually in Baton Rouge. It's so much fun. It's a great opportunity just to dress to the nines and eat good food and have good drinks and celebrate with good people and raise money for an awesome cause. And so it was great to do that. Waiting on a final tally, but it's annually one of, if not the best fundraiser in Baton Rouge, and all benefiting FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Institute. So it was great to be part of that this weekend. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU together, we roar. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
So we mentioned LSU staying healthy during their scrimmage. Great news because there were injuries throughout the conference this weekend. Alabama running back A.K. Deere expected to miss about 6 weeks with an ankle injury that he suffered in a preseason scrimmage. Kalen DeBoer said that the injury was in the first 2 scrimmages and then would be evaluated. The test revealed the severity of the injury. So having a nice scrimmage, but then the ankle injury will keep him out for roughly half the season.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Shane Beamer's squad has lost not one but 2 pass catchers to season-ending lower body injuries. Jaden Sellers, that's the younger brother of Lenora Sellers, by the way, and transfer Jaden Gibson. Both suffered injuries last week in practice. They will miss the season. Sellers impressed as a true freshman a year ago with over 300 yards in 7 games. Gibson missed the last 2 seasons at Oklahoma with injuries, and now he'll miss this season as well.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Another injury. Starting safety Edris Farouk suffered a torn patella tendon in his right knee Friday. He will miss the entire season for Tennessee. He's a junior from Maryland, was expected to be one of the leaders in Jim Knowles' defense. Left the practice field actually in an ambulance for the UT Medical Center. Started all 13 games for Tennessee last year, was second in the SEC in forced fumbles, and was second on the team in interceptions and tackles. That is a big, big loss there for the Vols.
Texas A&M!
Aggies keep hot on the recruiting trail. They got one of the top quarterbacks for 2028 over the weekend when Donald Tabron II committed to Texas A&M. 6'4", 190 pounds. He's out of Detroit. He's the number 2 quarterback according to ESPN for the class of 2028. Head offers from LSU, Oregon, and others.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And a quick basketball note. Forward Isaiah Sealy was arrested in Fayetteville. Multiple charges placed on the second-year player, including criminal trespassing, a minor in possession, and possession of a controlled substance. He has been released on bond. No comment yet from John Calipari. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Monday shows, as always, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters, too. And shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Friday, y'all, we spent the day, the entirety of the show. It was a 3-hour tribute to the late Skip Bertman. And that was the right thing to do. We could have done 3 days just straight. That was a tribute to Skip Bertman. But one of the things we didn't get a chance to get to on Friday that I want to circle back to here when we return is Blake Baker meeting with reporters on Friday, because we're only going to get to talk to Blake this one time in fall camp. And then this Friday, by the way, Charlie Weiss will meet with reporters. Lane Kiffin does not let assistant coaches meet with the media. So, this was it for us to talk to Blake Baker. So I do, when we'll break, we'll come back, and I want to circle back to some of the things, the high points that I hit on that I thought were interesting from Blake Baker. We'll do that. By the way, we also shared this, was able to get this information from the Bertman family on Sunday evening. The service, the public memorial for Skip, is going to happen on Tuesday, August 25th, so a week from tomorrow, at the PMAC. There'll be a private event for the Bertman family and then former players, coaches, and staff from 4:30 to 6:30. And then the event itself, the public memorial, will happen in the PMAC starting at 7 p.m. Doors are going to open approximately 6 p.m., and they are expecting a crowd. But they wanted to get this information out. So please help spread the word, because there's just a lot of people that are going to be flying in. And, it's a Tuesday night. And so they wanted to make sure they have plenty of notice for people to plan accordingly. So, again, a week from tomorrow, the public memorial for Skip is going to happen at 7 p.m. at the PMAC, with the doors opening at 6. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll let you hear from Blake Baker next on AFR.
After Further Review.
If you want to feel your best, our friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. Hey, Scone, I thought they were an ED clinic. Yes, they have ED treatments. So if you have ED, they can help. And it's not just a little blue pill. They got a lot of different things, a lot of different treatments that will certainly and surely work to help you if you do have ED. But it's so much more. It's about a holistic approach to feeling your best, youngest, most vital self. Y'all, you get one life to live. And there ain't no sense in waking up every day being sick and tired of being sick and tired. If you want to wake up, let your feet hit the ground, boom, and you are ready to go attack the day with tons of energy, waking energy, mental clarity. You want to talk about the motivation to get in the gym. When you get in the gym, you can burn fat and build muscle and have gains. You want to feel your best, libido, everything. Maybe it's hormone replacement therapy. Maybe it's peptides. But it starts with that call to Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Check them out at yourgoodwood.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus, the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmere to Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
If your office is...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. LSU did scrimmage in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. There was no media access, but I was able to have a lot of conversations. I'll give you a few notes on that coming up in about 13 minutes from right now. I do want to get to my Saints-Jags takeaway from the preseason game. We'll get to that next hour, too. Friday, Blake Baker met with reporters, and I'm certain over the remainder of fall camp we'll have plenty of opportunity to dissect a lot of what Blake had to say. It'll be the only opportunity we have here during camp, during the season, to speak to Blake. But there's a few things in particular that he was asked, talked about, that I thought were relevant. One is really the two spots on defense where they're kind of a little concerned about depth. And I think at all three levels, they have elite-level frontline starters. We've talked about it a lot here on the show. I think the depth is a concern. Now, Blake was asked about the edge rushers. Like, we know you've got Uman Mielen and Ross, but especially we know Relaford. What's there after that? And Blake talked a little bit about that on Friday.
I think I've seen a lot of growth out of some guys, really from, when you look at Jordan Ross, when you look at P. Will, they just got here in the spring, how much they've already grown. Dylan Carpenter is a guy that, he's absolutely been outstanding. When you talk about where he came in as a freshman to where he is now, you don't see that much anymore because a lot of times they'll leave before that. But, man, I can't be more complimentary of him and Lamar Brown. And we, Kalaj Cobbins is another guy. So I feel good about our depth. I think we have some really good explosion off the edge as well. And they're all complimentary of each other. Some guys have really good strengths in one area compared to another. So we're going to be able to play around with those weapons.
It's interesting, like, when he started talking about Carpenter and Cobbins and obviously Lamar Brown being a young guy, that kind of speaks to the reason I have a little bit of trepidation. Because you're talking about guys that just haven't done it. Some of them have been around, like Dylan Carpenter's entering his fourth year. Kalaj Cobbins entering his third year. Lamar Brown was a 5-star. But you're still talking about guys that haven't done it. Now, there's a very real question that I think a lot of people have rightly asked is to say, okay, well, does anybody in college football actually have great depth anymore? And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I kind of look at LSU offensively and go, well, they got great depth like at receiver. They went and got 9 receivers in the portal. All 9 aren't going to play, but, Malik Elzy wasn't a headliner, but he was a great player, at Illinois. I mean, Trey Brown comes in from Old Dominion, where he was a really productive player for them. And you've got Trey Wilson, who was a 5-star, and Jackson Harris coming in from Hawaii, who really popped this past season. So, Winnie Watkins. So you have great depth there. Can you replicate that everywhere? I think they've done that on the offensive line, where you've got Jaquan Sprinkle, who's a 4th-year guy who was a starter for 2 years at NC Central, where you have brought in great depth. I don't know that they've done that defense. I'm not going to say they don't have it. I'm just saying they don't have proven depth there. Now, the other position that I thought was really interesting, I'm about to play this from my phone. Forgive me for this. But it was Blake Baker talking a little bit about safety.
To be honest, going into fall camp, it was a concern. And not to say we don't have room to grow there, but again, a lot of credit to Jake Olson and Noah Joseph and the players in that room. Jace Thomas has been one of the biggest surprises to me in camp. He's played outstanding. Tamarcus Cooley's picked up where he left off. Same with Ty Benefield. And you look at the growth that Fahim's had. Deshaun Spears, CJ Jim Coyley. I mean, I feel really, really good about a lot of those guys, if not all of those guys I just mentioned. And I probably wouldn't have said that, 2 weeks ago or whenever we started camp. Feels like 2 weeks. It might have been a week ago. Who knows at this point. But I think that group is playing, and they're all young. That was one of my biggest concerns. When you talk about the depth pieces, all those Jace, CJ, I mean, Deshaun Spears really hasn't played. Fahim is a redshirt for whatever, second-year guy now. So to see those guys kind of step up and these, move the ball game-like situations, they've been really good. So I'm happy with where they're at right now.
I think you can kind of rinse and repeat with a lot of these position groups. You can be really excited about Ty Benefield. Tamarcus Cooley played 700 snaps a season ago, although I believe Jace Thomas is going to start. I think snap one against Clemson, Jace Thomas is going to be other safety. At this point, I'd be surprised if it wasn't Jace Thomas. But Fahim Delane and CJ Jim Coyley and Aiden Hall and a lot of those guys, they just haven't played. And I think that's what you continue to see. So for Blake Baker and his coaches and the staff, the onus is on them to get these guys who haven't played elevated quickly to be able to contribute. And obviously, maybe none bigger. Play 10, please. This was Blake Baker talking about defensive line, where you're talking about the freshmen with Richard Anderson and Deuce Geralds and all these young guys on that defensive line.
Yeah, they're as good as I've been around, especially when you talk about a trio of freshmen. I mean, we've thrown more install at this group than I ever have in my career. And those guys are repping with the 1s and the 2s, so they're getting the full install. And there's been growing pains. We're going to have to fight through the freshman wall at some point. I think all 3 of them are doing a good job fighting it right now. But I am proud of where they're at now and where they've come from. They work at it. They all love football. They got really, really bright futures. But you'll see all 3 of those guys on the field.
The challenge is that the future for those guys is now, especially Geralds and Anderson. Tiger scrimmage on Saturday. Geralds and Anderson were the ones out there on that scrimmage. And that they continue to be. At this point, again, I think you're going to have 2 true freshmen starting at defensive tackle against Clemson. And you could be pumped about those guys and their future and their ability and all that stuff. I'd be way more excited if those super elite level 18, 19-year-olds were your 3rd, 4th, or 5th defensive lineman instead of your first 2. Because that means they've beaten out your veterans who aren't, at this point, outperforming 18 and 19-year-old freshmen. So I think your front line offense, your first 11 defensively are going to be really good. I think depth defensively is a giant question, compounded by Aiden Anding and Gabriel Effort's injuries. So start to get answers soon enough. We're less than 3 weeks away from kickoff with LSU and Clemson. All right, it's after further review. Y'all, we're going to knock out a quick break. Sports Center's coming up and get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, man, a busy second hour. Brooks Austin's going to be here in 20 minutes. He was maybe the most popular guest we had on at SEC Football Media Days. He's known as the Film Guy on YouTube. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Well, he did his film breakdown of Sam Leavitt. So we're going to go deep dive film study Sam Leavitt here in about 20 minutes with Brooks Austin. When we come back, though, I'll give you some scrimmage notes from Saturday's LSU scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. Hour 2 of AFR is coming up.
after further review.
Brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. 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 Maybe one of your goals in life, dreams, is to get all of your family together like in one spot. Like, what if you could buy 100 acres or 20 acres and you and your siblings or your parents, or you have 3, 4, 5 homes all on this one big piece of property, so you're all kind of living there near each other. Like, if you want to buy that land, First South Farm Credit can help you do it. Maybe you want the hunting property, the recreational property. Maybe it's not even in Louisiana. Remember, First South Farm Credit can help you buy land anywhere in the lower 48. So maybe it's a dude ranch in Montana. First South Farm Credit can help you do it. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. That's the website. That's where you want to start online at FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Nick DeLuca. Lakers opening a new chapter. The Buss family selling their remaining 17.8% ownership stake to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. After completion, Jeannie Buss will no longer be the team's governor, has been the franchise's chief decision maker since taking over for her late father Jerry back in 2013. The sale will still need approval from the league's board of Governors. The NBA reportedly finding no evidence of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer funneling money through sponsors to Kawhi Leonard to circumvent the salary cap. League investigation instead focused on the team's introduction of Leonard to team sponsors and if it constitutes a violation of league salary cap rules. College football preseason rankings are in. Ohio State and Oregon 1-2 in the AP Top 25, giving the Big Ten the top 2 teams in the preseason for the first time in 65 years and just the second time ever. Ohio State will go into a season ranked number 1 for the 9th time, first time since 2015. Georgia, Notre Dame, and Texas rounding out.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will. Hey, bud.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Braxton Rarudo.
Draw. There goes Braxton.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Brooks Austin, the film guy. He'll be with us in 15 minutes from right now. Excited about that conversation. He did his film breakdown on YouTube late last week. They dropped it late last week of Sam Levitt. You're going to want to check it out. We'll talk about it with Brooks here in about 13 minutes from right now. Tigers had a scrimmage Saturday in Tiger Stadium. It was not open to the media. That was a big change. In spring, Lane let us watch scrimmages, which was awesome. I did, however, so I was not in Tiger Stadium. I did Saturday night and into Sunday have a conversation with a handful of people who were there and try to gather together as many notes as I can for you, which we'll go through here in just a second. But I think it's important to remember, like, how many people are at these things, right? Not only do you have all the players and the coaches and the support staff, but a lot of times family members are present, scouts from NFL teams, agents, sometimes boosters are invited. You have support staff, medical staff, you have administrators. I mean, you got so many people that actually get to go watch these things. You might be surprised how relatively easy it is to find people who attend who can maybe give you a few tidbits. I think the important thing is making sure you compare notes, make sure that everything kind of matches up. A few things that I was able to learn, I'll tell you about in a second, but Lane Kiffin opened his press conference here on Monday, was asked takeaways from that scrimmage on Saturday. Here's what Lane had to say.
Yeah, I thought the first defense played extremely well. Gave the offense a lot of pressure and really good in coverage. So that was great to see. Obviously, anytime in scrimmages, both sides are never going to look really good. And so the first offense struggled for a while, then came back and played well later, which is what we hoped for. But there's a lot of good things to evaluate. We played for a long time, I think 170 total plays. So that was really good to see, to get a lot of information on our guys, and half of it being tackling helped us on some evals too.
Okay. When we watched in the spring, there was one scrimmage in particular where the offense ran 10 series and they had 5 interceptions, a lost fumble, and a missed field goal. Lane Kiffin, after that scrimmage, called it, quote, discouraging. And you might remember he said if we needed to play a game today, we would be a defensive team. My hope continues to be, you get your quarterback in Sam Levitt, and the offense should be better. And also, I have a lot of faith and trust that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, it's just going to work, because it always does. It always has. Wherever he's been, whoever the quarterback is, roster turnover, first year, 6th year, doesn't matter. Kiffin's offenses always move the ball and score. I was not surprised in the spring that the defense dominated. You retained staff. You had a lot of your starters back. You added some really key pieces, Uman Mielen, Jordan Ross, Benefield, etc. And the offense, again, with a totally new offensive line, without your starting quarterback, really struggled in the spring in those scrimmages. So the fact that the offense had some success against what I think is going to be a really good defense was encouraging. And the fact that the defense really pressured Sam Leavitt, I thought was a great sign as well. Remember, Blake Baker's defense did give Lane Kiffin's offenses some trouble. Now, Trinidad Chambliss played Houdini a lot this past year, but they limited them as far as points on the board, which is ultimately the name of the game. I was told Sam Leavitt scrambled a bunch, and that's a great sign to see because Sam Leavitt's ability to run is going to be a huge component in this offense, and apparently they saw that a lot on Saturday. Not just design runs, but when plays were breaking down, him taking off and running. One other thing I was told is that when the twos went out there, the offense has dominated the defense. And that does concern me because it effectively validates what we were talking about with Blake Baker and the depth on this defense. Because for all the people who continue to say, well, who has great depth anymore? Well, I think LSU has great depth on offense. Like, I believe that. Husan Longstreet was a 5-star. He's your second quarterback. You can run through all the depth they have among the dozen receivers that they have. I mean, Caden Durham might be your 4th running back on this team. He was a freshman All-SEC a couple of years ago. You can go through the offensive line, and you can look at a guy like Sean Tompkins, who seemingly is your swing tackle. He was the starting left tackle at Baylor the last 2 years. So you do have good depth on offense. You don't have experienced depth on defense, and I think that's showed up. A few other notes that are relevant. The 2 freshmen did start at defensive tackle. It was Anderson and Geralds that started at defensive tackle. And I do believe that if LSU is playing Clemson today, when they run out for the first defensive snap, that those 2 true freshmen are going to play defensive tackle with the ones. Lamar Brown also rotated in with the ones, I was told, and they were trying to get a lot of equal reps there. So it's not a surprise at this point those guys are going to play. Jace Thomas did start as well with the ones at safety opposite Ty Benefield, although I was told Tamarcus Cooley rotated in as well. So both those guys played, but it was Jace Thomas. And for all the conversation we've had, Blake Baker said he's been so impressed with Jace Thomas, it's maybe made the biggest leap. And I think they're giving him that opportunity right now to be the starter opposite Ty Benefield. Offensively, some of the positions that are interesting, we know 4 of the 5 first offensive linemen are set, right? From left to right, it's Seaton and Bordelon, Braylon Moore, and then Aluba. That's 4 of your 5 starters. The question has been, can Weston Davis hold off everybody at right tackle? And they've rotated a lot of bodies there. Weston Davis did run with the ones at right tackle, but what seems like has happened now is Sean Tompkins is the swing tackle, the Baylor transfer. Remember, Sean Tompkins was going to be the starting left tackle. And then Jordan Seaton went in the portal, and LSU went full court press to get Seaton, and that sort of relegated Tompkins to a backup role. But I think Tompkins right now is the guy that's the next up at either tackle spot. So God forbid, but if something happened to Seaton or Davis, Tompkins would be the next guy up at right tackle. So if you had to just look at the second offensive line left to right, Tompkins would be your left tackle. Sprinkle would be your left guard, the NC Central transfer. I think Ryan Moret, the freshman, has probably beaten out William Satterwhite and would be your second center. Devin Harper would be your second right guard. And then Darren Stray, the transfer from Kentucky, would be your second right tackle if you're just looking at a wholesale unit change. But again, I think Tompkins would be a swing tackle there. I mentioned it a bit ago, but people keep raving about Stacey Gage and the progress that he's made. That's the UCF transfer at running back. So we know Harlem Berry and Dylan Jones-Berry, 1-2. Caden Durham has been around now into his 3rd season, but Stacey Gage seemingly is really pressing right there as well. So I was also told Harlem Berry, and Lane talked about Harlem Berry ripped off a long touchdown run in the scrimmage, and was the first score for the offense, and he apparently missed the ceremonial dunk on the sideline with the basketball hoop on the sideline. That's something that Lane's bringing over from Ole Miss. So a few other little tidbits. Tradez, Winnie Watkins, Jace Brown, they were all in gold no-contact jerseys. Although today, Watkins and Brown were in their white. On Monday, were in their white offensive jerseys. So that was good to see that they're seemingly making that progress as they move forward. So a few tidbits from the scrimmage on Saturday out at Tiger Stadium, and it was a long workout, as you heard Lane say, 170 plays. So a day to get to rest and get treatment on Sunday. They were back on the practice field today on Monday, and they'll be back at it again on Tuesday evening. And as much access as we have, we'll tell you what we see. If we don't get access, I'll poke and prod, nod and needle, and see whatever I can find, and we'll share with you here on AFR. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We are brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they keep coming back as they treat you like family. So if you have need for new tires, you want the best tires at the cheapest price, go to Shaw Bills. And if you need anything like your tires rotated or an alignment, or if your brakes are squeaking, or you need your oil change, or you need new windshield wipers, go to Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. Okay. Saints played the Jags Saturday in the first preseason game. I'll give you my takeaways in 18 minutes. If you missed it, former St. John Stinchcomb was on the call. He was with us in hour one. You can catch that on demand, AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. When we come back, though, we're talking Sam Levitt with Brooks Austin, the film guy. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're thinking of a pool, I've got an even better reason now to check out DuplessisPools.com. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. So they have the Pick Your Pool tab right there on the homepage of the website. Well, they've upgraded it. Now they have 3D modeling. So there's 11 different designs. DuplessisPools.com, just pick one of them. As you start to choose your finishes and features, it's going to build the pool for you. You want lights, tiling, coping, water wall, whatever it is, as you pick those features, you're going to see it build out on the 3D model. It's incredible. And the price will adjust as well as you see it. Look, you can drop a credit card in. If you do that, by the way, for a down payment, awesome. They'll shoot you a contract right there. You're already in the queue to let the shovels hit the dirt. It's DuplessisPools.com. Named the top 50 pool builder in America 2 years in a row, Duplessis Pools. Check them out online, DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit RevFiber.com.
Proform Steel, proformla.com. Proformla.com. If you need a metal building, you want Proform Steel. It's that easy. No matter if it's a shed in your backyard or a big commercial type building, you want Proform Steel. They're right there on Airline Highway in Gonzales. If you want to go by their showroom and their office, you can certainly do that. Remember, all of their materials, everything, made in the USA. They only use American-made materials. That's one awesome reason to do business with Proform Steel. Brandon Golson, also on the state licensing board. So you know you're dealing with an ethical business owner as well. Proformla.com. And you want a quote? Go to the website, hit request a quote. Someone will call you the same day with that number and free delivery on everything. No exceptions. You buy a metal building from Proform Steel, they will deliver it for free. Proformla.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Glad to have you rolling along with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. We are presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Brooks Austin set to join us here in just a quick minute. We're trying to connect with him. Hopefully we'll be able to do this on video. And if not, we'll just give him a shout on phone. I do want to get also to my Saints Jaguars takeaways from Saturday afternoon's game. And we had John Stinchcomb in hour number one. I'm telling you, the thing that for me was most interesting, and I was really excited to watch the receivers in the Saints preseason game on Saturday. But I ended up probably being more impressed with some of the defensive depth. Came away with a couple interceptions. Michael Heldman had 2 sacks. That's a guy that Ross Jackson has talked about with us here in almost every one of those practice reports, which has been incredible to see. But the question is, like, do you have a spot for some of these guys? Like Bub Means stood out. Do you have a spot for a 6th receiver? These are the things that are going to be really interesting to watch. So we'll see. Okay, I don't know. Are you not getting him on phone? Okay. We're supposed to be joined by Brooks. I don't know what's up. So let me just instead sort of pivot. Or you have him? Okay, good. Never mind. We do have him. That's great. All right. Let me know when we have the thumbs up there, fellas, and we'll roll. It's after further review. While we connect with Brooks, I'll remind you about Parish Restoration and parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. It's Parish Restoration and parishrestoration.com. It's not just mold. Yes, they do mold. We live in the mold capital of the world, y'all. It's wet and it's humid. It's a breeding ground for mold. So have mold or think you might. Call Jim Woodworth and the gang over at Parish Restoration. You can always hop over to the website, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. But remember, it's also odor. You have odor from pets, from smoke, whatever it may be, sweat. Maybe you own a gym, a workout facility. You have all that sweat odor. You want to knock that out? Parish Restoration can do it. Parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Okay. So we're trying to connect with Brooks. My apologies. Live radio and media. Sometimes, as they say, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. So are we okay? We got him. Can you hear him? Okay, great. All right, there we go. Brooks, what up, man? Dude, sometimes the heavy lift shouldn't be the heaviest, but it was. We appreciate you for making it work, dude. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Sorry about that.
No,
Technology is difficult. Technology is difficult, but we're here. I'm ready to be with you, Matt. What you got for me today?
All right. So you drop the much anticipated Sam Levitt video late last week. Going in, what was your biggest preconceived notion about Levitt that you were looking to maybe either confirm or disconfirm?
Yeah, so I'd obviously watched him during his time at Arizona State, even prior to his arrival at LSU, and I always thought of him as a frantic playmaker. Matt, I think you and I even talked about that during our time out at SEC Media Days, just getting this guy to kind of play within the system. And there was still some of that on that tape that we watched from Arizona State, just like, hey, it's there, take it now, instead of trying to be a superhero at times. But I think the thing that I left most impressed with is just his willingness to play football. You know, like some of these quarterbacks just want to be quarterbacks, and some of these quarterbacks are football players who happen to play quarterback. I think he's the latter, and I enjoy those guys. Those are the guys that I like to root for. I like to watch. I don't like these guys that are just, you know, I'm a quarterback. You know, I like football players first, and I think that last clip that we left in that film study, it's the last play of the game for them offensively. I think that epitomizes what I'm talking about, right? They're in a short yardage situation down in the goal line where Malik Brown gets a handoff, gets absolutely stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And then you see Sam Levitt dive in like he's a firefighter running into the smoke, like he is ready to go and drive that guy into the end zone. So to me, man, that epitomizes what I'm talking about. I like football players, and this guy is a football player on top of the fact he's an elite playmaker. I think that's the thing you guys are going to learn about him. He's going to be fun to watch now. There's going to be some moments where you hold your breath, but there's some other moments where the crowd's going to explode because he's going to do something nobody else can really do.
Brooks, you have a comp for Levitt, size, style, any of that sort of stuff?
Oh, no, I mean, like, so he's not this. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's not Trinidad Chambliss, but that is the mold. Moving forward, and I think you and I talked about this at SC Media Days. That's going to be the mold moving forward. I think the mold for them is going to be twitchy, athletic, efficient football players. When I say efficiency, I'm talking about mechanics, like get the ball in and out right now. No big elongated motions. We want quick, fast twitch, athleticism at the position. And that's what he is. And I think that's what they will continue to recruit and continue to develop at the position. If you look at their room now, it's exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's Sam Levitt. It's Landon Clark, the kid from Elon, who can't be but 6 foot, maybe. Really good athlete, twitchy in his mechanics. And then you look at Hassan Longstreet, same thing, about 6 foot, about 200 pounds, could probably run sub 4.5. And then you look at Pop Houston out of Texas or Louisiana, same thing, same football players. Like I think this is the mold moving forward for this offensive brainstem. The more and more I talk to them, and the more and more I study what they're doing.
What do you think about? A lot's been made of Longstreet's throwing motion. What do you think about Levitt's mechanics as you watch him?
Yeah, efficiency, right? Like I don't see a lot of wasted movements in that. It's pretty in and out. I think we had him sub 0.45 seconds in release time. And it's something average? That I care about.
What's average?
Oh, and so NFL average is anything sub 5.5.
Okay.
Normally, that's what we shoot for. Anything over than that is labeled an elongated motion. He doesn't have any of that. He's in and out pretty damn quickly.
Okay. Make sure you subscribe the Film Guy Network on YouTube. The film study breakdown of Sam Levitt. The video is about 24 minutes. Totally worth your watch. Make sure you check it out. He's on Twitter as well, at Brooks Austin BA. When you look at Levitt, one of the things, Brooks, I know you diagram some of this, or broke down some of this. One of the things you and I have talked about, and everyone does, it's like you got to purge the bad plays. Well, like, how many, or where do you see the turnover? Because the turnover numbers aren't terrible, but when you watch the turnovers, some of them, they look terrible. So,
yeah,
what do you think? I guess the way I'm trying to ask the question is like, what is fixable when you look at the way he plays, and can you really purge some of those mistakes out?
Yeah, I mean, we could just teach him and learn him to the fact that, like, hey, you don't have to do all this stuff. Like, you don't have to do all this. You don't have to go out of your way to make plays. We got guys around you that can make plays. And look, I don't want to act like it was all like bare bones out there at Arizona State, right? Like they had a first-round wide receiver, they had a first-round offensive tackle, they had $1 million player at the running back position. Like, it wasn't terrible, but the other 8 players around him at LSU are going to be considerably better than that at Arizona State. So I think that comes from reps of understanding what you are and what you have around you. We talk a lot on our channel about scar tissue, right? Like bad habits being created through previous issues that have been like happened to us, right? Like that stuff when we don't have bad things consistently happen to us, maybe we don't have this scar tissue as a quarterback. And we talk about that a lot at the position because it creates bad habits that are not created by your own mistakes, right? Like you're flushing out of pockets left and right. Well, coach, I ain't had a clean pocket in 3 weeks. Hey, you're turning down reads. Well, coach, I've been turning down reads because guys been dropping footballs, or you know what I'm saying? Like these types of things, these bad habits that are created through scar tissues of things that aren't by our own making. So I think a lot of that is going to be worked out of him. And I'll tell you, Matt, I know you got sources in that building, as do, probably far more than I do. But I've heard tremendous things out of LSU people about this kid. They think he's going to be electric. They think he is everything that they signed up for out of the portal. So I'm excited to watch it, man. Like, I'm excited. You know how I am about offensive football. You know how I am about points and studying film. I'm excited to see what the heck they do with the kid, because it sounds like they feel like they hit a home run for sure.
Talk to me about Sam Leavitt, the runner, either design runs or, like, I know one of the ones you highlighted is where it looked like there was maybe you backed up to the goal line. There was like a pass that might have been there in the flat, but he took off and ran up the middle for about like 20 yards. Design run versus scramble. What are we looking at with Leavitt?
Yeah, so he's not a massive human, okay? I think we all know that, and we already have a little bit of injury prior. So I wouldn't be out here design running him 10 to 12 times a game. But some of the massive explosives that he does create in the passing game in particularly are from him extending plays with his legs. But the most important thing is that is the last exit strategy, right? Like we work within the system first and foremost. We go through the answers that coach has provided, and then we let our God-given traits take over, right? It can't be eyes down, let's go now all the time, right? Especially not in this conference, especially with the fact that if we do that all the time, we're going to expose ourselves to more and more hits, or ultimately going to expose ourselves to more potential injuries. So the design running aspect of him, I would use particularly in the red area, right? When we get down there, the field gets tight, the boxes get heavy. I would start using the quarterback's legs a lot more in that area. Short yardage situation, perhaps, stuff like that. But I felt like Trinidad was far more of a traditional, I can carry the load, workload guy, like running back style run. Whereas this guy, I want to utilize his athleticism and let the explosives with his legs come as a way out of bad problems, right? I want him to make us right when everybody else is wrong. I don't want to lean on him being the answer with his legs because I don't want to get him hurt. B, I think we're good, right? Like the other thing that I've heard out of camp so far is they feel like they hit on this Wisconsin running back. I don't know his name. The
Dylan Jones.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Dylan Jones.
Yeah, they feel like he's going to be an above average SEC guy, and they feel like he's going to be able to run the ball. So I don't need him to be a design quarterback run guy. Does that make sense? I just need him to threaten defenses and make them honest, right? Like if that defensive end on the backside wants to dive in on run plays, no, he cannot. We're going to pull the football and we're going to run and slide and get ourselves protected for 8 or 9 yards. And then the next time we have a mesh point, that defensive end is going to be standing there flat-footed going, I can't dive in on the run. That's the most important thing. I don't need him to go out there and run for 120 yards. I need his threat of his legs to keep people honest. So my run game, my traditional running back run game, can run for north of 180. That's the answer to sustained success in the run game in this conference nowadays.
Yeah, that's certainly what they lacked a year ago. With Nuss, just not as great as he was when he was healthy, just never a threat to run. Hey, before you go, last thing, time very much appreciated. Brooks Austin's with us at Brooks Austin BA. Give him a follow on Twitter and make sure you go subscribe to the Film Guy Network on YouTube. The Sam Leavitt film breakdown is up right now. The Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss advantage. What does that mean for Sam Leavitt?
Well, it means he's going to have a lot of the answers in his head. All right. There is not a defensive structure that those guys don't know how to attack, that they don't know how to give their quarterbacks the answers to the question. And that's, you're gonna see a lot more defenses try to disguise coverages and disguise fronts against you guys because of what I'm talking about. I think we talked about this at SEC Media Days. I'll never forget listening to Nick Saban and Kirby Smart talk about Lane Kiffin's whistle, right? Used to, before helmet comms, Lane would stand over there near the sticks and he'd whistle at his quarterback, and then the whole offense would look over there all deer-eyed and be like, oh, what's the new play? And then he'd give them the new play. They'd signal in a new play, and then they got them. They got the defense right where they want it. Well, now there's no whistle. He just pulls down that little headset and tells the quarterback where the answer is, and then the defense gets gutted. It was so funny to me. I was watching film last year preparing for Ole Miss, and I'm watching them versus Washington State. And I'm like, surely Washington State's not really out here trying to play man-to-man coverage. Like, it's Washington State. What are you doing? And then I realized, every time they try to play zone coverage, the dude finds a soft spot and there's a 9-yard reception, and then they just walk the ball down the field. The only way to actually get a defender at the catch point against this offense is to dare to play man-to-man coverage, which makes the answer offensively become, all right, well, we're just going to play man-on-man football. All right, well, we got pretty good dudes down here now. It's part of the reason why I went over there, honestly, right? They're always going to have great football players. Not that Ole Miss didn't, but I think the stats are the stats lately. Like, he signed more 5-star football players in the first 7 months than he did in 6 years at Ole Miss. Like, that is a reality right now. So, no, there are no defensive structures that you can play against this guy where he doesn't know how to give his quarterback the answer. So it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Just trust the magic voice in your head, buddy. He's probably right. Let's just play with that one.
He is Brooks Austin, the Film Guy Network on YouTube. Go subscribe to the channel. Follow him on Twitter at BrooksAustinBA. Great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
No doubt, guys. Y'all be good.
All right, man. We'll do it again soon. It's after further review. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Quick break. I want to get to my Saints Jags takeaway. We'll do it. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Thinking of buying or selling a home? Call Darren James. Get your home sold. 335-7666. 335-7666. 335-7666. That's Darren's cell, by the way. I'll give it to you one more time. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Agent225.com. Hey, look, when you work with Darren James, remember, it obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled with the level of customer service, fire him. Let you out of the contract free and clear. But in all the years, the decades of Darren's career, no one's ever taken him up on it. How about this beautiful property? My goodness, right here in Maurepas on the Diversion Canal. Absolutely gorgeous property. You want to check out the photos of it, you could do so on Darren's Facebook or at agent225.com. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. So whether it's here locally, if it's anywhere in the greater Baton Rouge area, you need to sell your home, you need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. We always appreciate Brandon and Adrian Holly, awesome folks. And they were one of the sponsors of the Capital Gala Best Dress this weekend, benefiting the Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Institute. So generous as always, involved in the community, and we love being partnered with Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. And shades. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Saints had their first preseason action. They lose to the Jags on Saturday there in the Dome. Saints, look, it couldn't have started any better. 86-yard kickoff return to open the game. The Saints scored then on their first offensive snap to go up 7-0. And it looked like the Saints might be able to hold on, but Jacksonville scored late. Ultimately, they'd win it 24-20, but there was a lot to like. Certainly, Zach Wilson was fantastic. The 2-minute drill before the end of the first half. You had some standout players and performances that I want to delve into with some of the guys who I think really helped themselves in Saturday's game against Jacksonville. But here was Kellen Moore first. We'll start with the quarterbacks. This is number 5, we could, Braxton. This is Kellen Moore talking about Zach Wilson, how much he's improved so far since he's gotten to New Orleans.
I think that was great for Zach. Zach's a really talented quarterback. I think he's a really, really good football player. I've enjoyed seeing him just grow through the whole offseason program from OTAs to training camp to now. I think he's, Zach's still, 26, might have just turned 27, if I remember right. He's still got tons of growing to do. And, I think he's done a great job of applying himself this year in the system. And so proud of what he was able to do out there on the field.
It is very much worth mentioning. None of the starters for either team played. So sometimes overreacting to a preseason game is a fool's errand. It is, however, another data point. It's something to look at, to point you to consider as you build this book or this mountain of evidence of how you're going to make a decision. Now, you've had a whole bunch of practices, and through all the practices, look, Ross Jackson comes on here every time the Saints practice and have media availability and give us a practice report. And it has been abundantly clear that Rattler has been the guy. Well, then they go play a game on Saturday, and Rattler ends up 8 of 11 for 42 yards, while Wilson is 11 of 16 for $145 and a score, with a passer rating of 118. That's one metric. You want to look at Pro Football Focus, which is something we talk about often? Well, Zach Wilson was awesome, graded out over an 80, while Spencer Rattler graded out in the 40s. Again, talk about it often. It's a metric. It's not the metric. It's something to consider when we talk about Pro Football Focus grades. But it's a data point that shouldn't be altogether ignored. Outside of Wilson, who was really good, the other guy that has to be the headliner we talk about is Mike Heldman. And Kellen Moore talked about Mike Heldman. I'm going to play 6. Heldman is the guy from Central Michigan. He's been on the show after the Saints signed him as a UDFA. And he's a guy that continues to pop in camp. The problem for Heldman has been he plays a position there as a defensive end that is just crowded, where you have Chase Young and Carl Granderson and you re-sign Cam Jordan, and you You have Anthony Jennings there. Like, do you have enough roster spots to retain him? This was Kellen Moore about Heldman.
Yeah, I think Mike's just a steady player, and he just continues to play the right play style. And when you just keep playing the right way, keep battling, good things are going to happen for you.
And they have all throughout camp. That's one of those guys that you hope. I put it to you this way: every year when we talk about the final 53, it's never the final 53. It's the first 53, because you sign your 53-man roster like all the other 32 teams do, and then the next day, when you see who else is available, you end up waiving guys or cutting guys and signing guys that other teams let go, or whatever the case may be, or you hold on to your UDFA to see how everything else shakes, and then maybe the next day you cut them and sign them to your practice squad, however it may go. But ultimately, you look at Heldman, and he's one of those guys who the Saints may look and say, look, we can't risk letting this, cutting this guy and letting someone sign him to their 53 the next day, and so you lose him. So maybe this is a guy who they find a way to keep, and it's an up-down situation, practice squad, sign to the active roster, or however they have to do it 15 times throughout the season just to protect him. But he's one that clearly is showing up in a way at a position that's a valuable position, and he's shown he can play, at least so far through camp and at this level. Really wanted to see all the receivers, but it ended up being Bub Means who really was the standout. And in part, maybe he was the standout because he got to be partnered and paired with Zach Wilson. And we've talked about that pairing. Actually, I was texting with Ross during the game, and a lot of you were messaging me, man, Ross looked like a prophet talking about Wilson and Bub Means. 4 catches, 77 yards. Darn near had 2 touchdowns in the game as well. But Bub Means carried it over from the practice field to the game as a former draft pick for the New Orleans Saints. You just wonder, is there space? Because you've got Chris Olave, and you've got Devon Vele, and then you've got the 3 draft picks from this year. That's 5. Are you keeping a 6th receiver? Generally, if you keep a 6th receiver, it's someone like, remember back in the day, Courtney Roby, who was your gunner on special teams and return kickoffs. Well, he was a receiver, but really he made the team as a specialist. Bub Means isn't going to make this team as a specialist. So do you have value for a guy like Bub Means as a 6th receiver? Probably not. But then is Barrion Brown making the team as a receiver or as a specialist? Well, he's really stood out this year as a receiver and as a specialist. So that's certainly going to be one worth keeping an eye on. And then you look at the cornerbacks, man. Jaden Price and Martin Emerson were both really good in this ball game. Here was, this is number 9. This was Kellen Moore talking about Emerson in the ball game.
Oh, I've noticed this last week, I think. And I think that's a fair evaluation for sure. He's been coming together all of training camp. He's coming off a year where he wasn't able to play and coming off of a season-ending injury. And to see his growth, I think this last week he's been awesome, from team periods to joint practice to the preseason game. Just proud of his growth.
Emerson's a guy who SEC fans probably remember. He's from Pensacola, where he played at Pine Forest, but then went to Mississippi State. And was a 3rd-round pick coming out of Mississippi State. Was with the 68th overall pick, went to the Cleveland Browns, and just was injured last year. And so he suffered the Achilles tear in training camp last year, missed last season, and then signed a 1-year deal with the Saints. And he's playing like a guy who has a lot of experience. Over 3 NFL seasons, he's played in 50 games with 33 starts. And we talked about him when the Saints signed him. But he's one of those guys where you take the low-risk, high-reward swing on a guy like Emerson, where that was the big position group that I had as a concern coming out of the draft when they didn't go address it in draft or free agency. And you let Alontae Taylor walk. Is this a guy in Emerson who might actually be a starter that helps upgrade and elevate that position? It was encouraging to see that performance Saturday. Again, I don't want to overreact to a preseason game, but seeing Price and Emerson play well in that defensive backfield gives you a little bit of hope that you've got some really good depth. I still think they lack the top-tier corner because I don't think that's Kool-Aid McKinstry, and I don't think they have that guy on the roster. So when you go roll up on a JSN or a Jamar Chase or a Puka Nacua, you don't have anybody that can handle that guy. Where you're like it used to be with Lattimore where you'd say, hey, 23, get on that side of the field and just lock down that guy. You don't have him. But what you might be building there at cornerback is really good depth, and that's encouraging to see. Saints have joint practices with all three of their preseason opponents. This week they're out in L.A. against the Rams. Then they play the Cowboys in the third preseason game. So the Saints are going to have a lot of work in joint practices in addition to the 3 preseason games. And over the next 2 weeks, they're going to iron out a lot of these battles. But a handful of guys I thought really made a statement and an impact. The one other thing, obviously, is place kicker. And Charlie Smith missed a field goal, and I get it was from 52, but in the NFL, that's got to feel automatic. And right now for Charlie Smith, it doesn't feel automatic. He missed his 1 field goal attempt. Tanner Brown made both of his. And for the first time in camp, it kind of feels like maybe Tanner Brown is nosed or edged ahead of Charlie Smith. So another one worth watching as the Saints move here into week 2 of the preseason. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. Was out at LSU football practice today, and before practice, I was talking to my buddy Michael, who's photographer for The Advocate. And he was telling me I remember this, when we were there at LSU in Tiger Stadium for the Lane Kiffin press conference. I was doing my show there that day, and he walked over, and we were chatting. He reminded me that he had Evo ICL last fall, like in September. And he said it's incredible. Like, he's seeing better than 2020. He wasn't a candidate for LASIK, so this was an alternative where they actually implant the contact lens into your eye. And it works like LASIK in that you just wake up and you can see. You never have to fool with contact lens ever again. It is a totally reversible procedure as well. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Just go for that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, it is After Further Review. Lane Kiffin met with reporters today after practice. I want to dive into a little bit more of what Lane had to say. We'll do that in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, though, we'll do Tigers and the Pros. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
You know, I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery because at Clegg's, they've got an amazing selection. Full greenhouses of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs and all that stuff. We're getting close to fall. I know it's still a bajillion degrees outside, but a sure sign that fall is around the corner is when you roll up into Clegg's and they've got buckbusters and mobucks and deer corn, and they got it right now over at Clegg's Nursery. All 4 locations: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. It's been a couple of weeks now since they've had buckbusters, but just here in the past few days, they got mobucks in as well. So if you're going to put those plots out, you want to bag that trophy buck this deer season, it starts at Clegg's Nursery. They got buckbusters and they got mobucks right now at Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of the 4 locations: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number 1 product is always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock Rock Station, home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And Rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.
Brought to you by Amigo Owls, of course, from Brandon and Mackenzie Landry, the same team that brought you Supper Club. And we get to talk about so much, but on Mondays, Supper Club is closed. So this is a great opportunity to try Amigo Owls if you have not done so yet. They're on Highway 30 in St. Gabriel, so just south of U Club. So if you're leaving LSU, you're going south on Highway 30. You pass U Club, about a quarter mile on the left. You can't miss it. You'll see the yellow truck right there. Parents, maybe you're moving your kiddos into LSU this weekend and long day on campus, filling up the dorm or the apartment or the condo, and go treat yourself to some amazing gourmet Mexican, great, healthy, fresh ingredients, higher quality ingredients, even with the margs as well. Their skinny marg, I'm telling you, might be the most delicious margarita I've had. It's not the same sugar water and bad tequila. Everything is better ingredients. It's at Amigo Owls. And they got the third-party apps, so DoorDash, Uber Eats, check them out. It's Amigo Owls.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Well, this is a gigantic bummer, man. Jamal Adams, his 2026 season is over before it started. Saturday, the Vikings beat the Giants in a preseason game 13-10, and Adams went down with a right leg injury, and it is season-ending. So Kevin O'Connell said he was crushed for Adams, that they're going to miss him. The early testing didn't look good. Now it is confirmed that Jamal Adams' injury this past weekend in the game against the Giants will cause him to miss the entirety of the 2026 season. So Adams was looking for a bounce back this year with Minnesota in a new spot. Of course, the former Jets, Seahawks safety spent 2024 in Tennessee and Detroit, sort of split time that season. And then last year was with the Raiders, played all 17 games with the Raiders a season ago. Was in a new spot this year in Minnesota, but his season is over before it began. So he's got a long road of recovery ahead of him. So good luck to Jamal Adams on the road to recovery here after this injury. Okay, it is after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. On that note, Braxton has the honors. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, so former running back Josh Williams for the Buccaneers had 8 carries for 27 yards and 1 touchdown in their 24-16 victory over the Jets in preseason game 1. Garrett Nussmeier made his debut for the Chiefs and went 13 of 19 for 98 yards and a 20-12 loss to the Rams. Baron Brown made his debut for the Saints. He went 4 catches for 53 yards and a 24-20 stunner to the Jaguars. Tommy White for the Athletics. Don't know where they're from, but there's Athletics. But he went 4 of 8 from the plate this weekend with 3 runs, 1 home run, 1 RBI as they win this series 2-1 over the Rangers. What a big weekend for Tommy White. NBA forward Trendon Watford has signed a 1-year, $2.9 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's your newest New Orleans Pelican. And Angel Reese for the Atlanta Dream puts up 15 points, 14 rebounds. What a double-double with 6 assists and an overtime loss to the Indiana Fever, 95-91. Last but not least, Flau'jae Johnson for the Seattle Storm fills his stat book with 5 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. She may have not scored a lot, but she definitely made an impact in that game. They lose that game to the Chicago Sky, 82-80. That is all for Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. You need dinner plans tonight. Don't cook. Just get on by Rouse's. You can walk in. They got everything for everyone, no matter what everyone may want. They got the grab and go. I love the Asian bowls. It's one of my favorite. They got sushi, grab and go. They've got the hot bar. You want, if it's fried chicken or whatever seafood options they may have, pop on into Rouse's. And, of course, all your drinks, beverages, and whatever else that you may want if you're making groceries Get on by Rouse's. 76 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. Rouses. This feels like home. Yeah, how about Trendon Watford? It was Shams who first had the report that the Pelicans, who have yet to make a single offseason roster move, finally made one. And they added former LSU Tiger Trendon Watford, who's played 5 NBA seasons. This past year was in Philadelphia, but now joining up on a one-year, $2.9 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. So Trendon Watford coming back to where he played his college ball in Louisiana. All right, it's After Further Review presented by Relief Windows. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll kick off hour number 3 with Lane Kiffin next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Lane's not going to be here. We're going to play some audio from his press conference. Arco.com, 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 ARCCO. It's Arco.com for Arco Power Systems. Man, our friends at Arco do awesome work. I love singing their praises every single day. When you see their operation, you just can't help but be impressed. A multi-state operation. I mean, north to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio. Draw a giant circle. If you own a business anywhere in that footprint, Arco serves you. Industrial generator power. And then when you think about the manner in which when a storm comes, I mean, the National Guard has literally taken Arco employees onto their Blackhawks and flown them into disaster areas to get power back on in spots. It's crazy. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. What happens to your business when the power goes out? Don't find out. Get a generator from Arco, Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. The Butts family is saying goodbye to the Lakers, selling their remaining 17.8% ownership stake to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. After completion, Jeannie Buss will no longer be the team's governor, had been in the role since taking over for her late father Jerry in 2013. Sale still in need of approval from the league's board of governors. The NBA reportedly finding no evidence of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer funneling money to Kawhi Leonard through sponsors to circumvent the salary cap. League investigation that is ongoing, focused on the team introducing Leonard to sponsors and if that constitutes a violation of salary cap rules. In baseball, the Yankees are activating lefty Carlos Rodon from the IL to start tomorrow night against the Orioles. Team had been planning for him to make another rehab start. Has been on the IL since July 3rd with elbow inflammation. Has a 3.30 ERA in 9 starts this year. College football preseason rankings are in. Ohio State and Oregon 1-2 in the AP top 25.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Braxton Rizzuto.
There goes Braxton.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. The celebration of life for Skip Bertman has been set. Our buddy Doug Thompson is going to be here in about 15 minutes to give us some of the deets on it. I got a text on the show text line from James who said, hey, what happened to Musso? And I said, vacation, because lots of people take vacation during fall camp with a facepalm emoji. And James replied, well, wasn't Moscona off for a couple days within the last week? James, I had appendicitis. I literally had emergency surgery. That's a big difference in taking vacation during fall camp. James. No, we hope Musso's enjoying himself at the beach. And I'm sure he'll come back whenever he sees fit. So now Musso's back on Wednesday. So Braxton and Jordan have been filling in. We appreciate everybody for pulling Musso's weight while he's out. All right, it's after further review. Tigers are back on the practice field here on Monday. Lane Kiffin met with reporters afterwards. Just some of the newsy housekeeping things. Ed Ogeron was not there today at practice. We reported over at LouisianaSports.net that Coach O was not at the scrimmage either on Saturday. Lane Kiffin said he wasn't feeling well, so they sent him home. No more information given. We'll see if he'll be out there, if Ed will be out there. I did ask for an update on Damian Shanklin, and if Shanklin had the opportunity to return. Lane, can you play 14? This was, I'm sorry, Bryce, play 14 real quick. This was Lane's answer on Damian Shanklin.
I do not have an update on that, and I cannot comment on that.
Okay, so Lane is not wanting generally to give a lot of tidbits on anything related to the roster. I did also ask about the 3 or 4 absent players today, which were Harlan Berry, Malik Blockton, Jordan Ross, and J.D. LaFleur, and got the no comment there as well. They'll all be fine, whatever. So anyway, I asked for you, but we'll see. It'd be a good indicator tomorrow, right? They practice tomorrow evening, they practice Tuesday evening, and we have our customary 2 to 3 segments, periods to go watch. So 12, 15 minutes. So we'll get a chance to see maybe some of those guys will be back out there after what apparently was a really long physical scrimmage, 170 plays, and so maybe some guys just needed a day. So we'll check it tomorrow night. A few things that Lane talked about. The other question that I asked, in addition to all the personnel questions, was one that I asked intentionally open-ended because I don't know if you find this, and this could just be me as someone who spends a giant chunk of my professional life sitting in press conferences, like listening to other people speak. I think sometimes you pick up on tips and tells and leans and things like that when you hear someone speak a lot. And with Lane, I've mentioned this to you before, but a lot of times it doesn't matter what we ask. If there's a message he wants to get across, he's going to get it across. But I also think that he is very sort of introspective. I think it's interesting sometimes when his wheels start spinning and he starts to explain the way he processes things, because he's very clearly a very bright man. He's a great football coach, but like he's just very clear, very smart. And so I asked him a very intentionally open-ended question in hopes that maybe we would get one of those answers. And the way I phrased it was, like, at this point in camp, like you're a little past the halfway point in camp, how do you measure what progress your team has made? This is what he said.
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, we really try to look at individual players, where they're at, and then from their groups, and then from their sides of the ball. And then what roles can we start to mold people into? You know, we try to look at not just week 1, but week 3, week 5, week 7. You know, maybe there's players that aren't projecting to maybe be ready for certain roles, but maybe they will be because they're younger players or struggling to learn. So we're in constant meetings about that and trying always to fit pieces and figure out where somebody can take a few plays off of some situation of someone else.
The way he started the answer had me worried that we were going to get nothing out of that. The way he finished it was exactly what I was hoping for. They are so analytical in nature, the staff, just very clearly. Like Lane has said it, we look at everything. And I believe him. Like, they look at everything. Especially with as much as I've pried around with the player personnel department, trying to get some sense of what they're doing for the potential of the 5-for-5 ruling if it happens. I mean, my goodness, the way that they have broken down and evaluated every possible player that could join the roster if the judge's ruling goes away, it does. They are super detailed. But you heard him say there, like, there may be a player that's not ready now, but what about by like week 3 or week 5? And what if they could give you just some snaps to take pressure off another guy? You know, one of the things that Lane said in the spring that was very revealing to me was when he was asked about the 9-game schedule. But one of the things he talked about was at Ole Miss, they were 20-0 in the non-conference, and a lot of times it benefited them because they would play these games where they'd blow teams out. I'm paraphrasing. They'd play these games, they'd blow teams out, and ultimately guys would play fewer snaps. Because your starters, like let's say 3 games a year, your starters are out at halftime. Well, that's like effectively a game and a half less they're playing. Well, if you play a 9th conference game and you have the Power 4 mandate, well, now you don't have as many built-in body bag games where your starters are out, meaning your starters are going to play more snaps. There's going to be more wear and tear. So there he is saying, where can we find a series here, a set of snaps there, whatever, to take some, that someone can give us some depth to take some of the pressure off of and the snaps off of our starters. So that was fascinating. So we'll continue to watch and see how that continues to learn and grow. Like I don't think there's any doubt. Like Jaden Breaker fits that mold. Like they see something in Breaker where he was going to be a linebacker buried on the depth chart, but they love the skill set. They could play him at edge, and somewhere along the way, at that position where they don't have great depth, maybe that guy can give him 10 snaps a game. But the way they're thinking is, what if those 10 snaps or 7 snaps, whatever it is, end up being the difference between, you know, creating a sack or a pressure that flips the game, or, you know, over the course of 10 games, those 7 snaps or 70 snaps, it's effectively like a starter playing 1 less game. Like, I think that's the way they compute something like that, which is fascinating. Hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that really well. A couple other things that I thought were really interesting from Lane. He did talk about the green dot And, of course, that's the helmet comms, right? So the quarterback has the green dot, so now they can communicate. And this is something he's talked a lot about in spring and now, but he went into more detail about it today.
I believe we're number one in the country over green dot time of total offense and passing offense. So I think it's benefited us. I think that speaks a lot to Charlie and his ability to communicate to the quarterback, and then the relationship developed in that and how that all works. It's not just as easy to just give a play. I shouldn't say that. Some people do that. Ours is a lot more in depth of what we do and how we work it, and where the 15 cuts off, 15 seconds, and our ability to get things done fast and in fast so we can still talk to them all the way up to that point. Or if you think about it, if you're a slower team, you don't have very long to talk to until it comes off. So I think it's been of great benefit to our last two quarterbacks and how they played.
Think of it this way. So when you talk about the helmet comm, right? The coaches can talk to the quarterback up into 15 seconds before the play clock expires. So you got a 40-second play clock. They can talk to you as you're counting down to when it hits 25, right? So, or 25 seconds in when you're 15 seconds from it expiring. That's when the helmet comm cuts off. When does Lane Kiffin's offense ever take the play clock down to 0? Never. Almost never, unless they're running out the clock. So what he's saying here is, like, they're never challenged by the helmet comm cutting off. Like, they are talking, Charlie Weiss, are talking to the quarterback literally up until the snap because they never take it down that far. It's an incredible advantage. And one more, and this is something that we have talked about almost every day here, and it's the freshman defensive lineman. And I told you in the practice report, the scrimmage notes that I got from Saturday, the two freshmen started, Anderson and Gerald's. And I think for the first time, Lane acknowledged, like, you could be really excited about those guys, but it is a concern.
Yeah, I do. I mentioned it before, study everything. We do. If you study old teams win now. And I just think that's the maturity of the player, especially the fourth, fifth year player, and how they think and what's important to them. And they're used to playing too. They're veterans. Even in the NFL, obviously the fifth year player plays different than the rookie usually. So there's a lot of concern there. And so, how much can we get them ready to do? And that they play really well versus the mistakes that they make, especially because of our schedule, the opener and the ninth SEC game. You don't have those games that, you had those opportunities before.
September is a bear. Clemson, Louisiana Tech, at Ole Miss, Texas A&M. You don't have time to get those guys ready to play. They got to be ready to go. But for the first time, he's acknowledging it. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be really pumped up about Gerald and Anderson and Lamar Brown and what their ability is, their ceilings are, what their futures are going to be. But you don't have the luxury of talking about their futures. Like, those dudes have to be ready to go now. He's telling you that. We're going to get that answer soon. Like, we're going to get that answer game one, snap one, because those two dudes are going to be on the field. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you drink plenty of Evermore. Stay hydrated out there, y'all. It's 97 degrees right now. That's unbelievable. Air temp at 5:13 in the afternoon is 97 degrees. Stay hydrated, man. Grab plenty of delicious Evermore. It's natural artesian water. I love when y'all send me your photos. Evermore at your home, at the beach, out in the wild, wherever you are. Eat VAMOR. Available at great local retailers. Or you can buy it online. 20-ounce, 32-ounce, 64-ounce bottles. You can buy it individually, in bulk. Just make sure you support a great Louisiana product, a great Louisiana company, and do something healthier for you and your family. It's natural artesian water. Nothing added, nothing taken away. It's Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. All right, that's after further review, y'all. But I got a quick break. We do have the Saints PFF grades in from the Jacksonville game. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. Also, maybe a few more, another tidbit or two from Lane Kiffin that we'll get to. You can always get in if you want to contact us, remember you can text us, email us. If you want to text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways to get involved in the show. Let me knock out a quick break. Former Tiger pitcher Doug Thompson will jump aboard with us, give us some details on Skip Urban's Celebration of Life ceremony that will be held at the PMAC a week from tomorrow. It's AFR.
After further review. REV,
RevFiber.com. Big hat tip to my good friend Tressie Leindecker from Rev. She was one of the Capitol Gala Best Dressed honorees this past weekend, which was an awesome, awesome event as always. And, of course, I always love telling you about Rev Fiber. The Mosconas, we are Rev Fiber customers at our home. As soon as Rev came and laid fiber in our neighborhood, boom, we switched. Remember, they bury the cables under the ground, so you never have to worry about a storm coming, knocking over the power lines, or a tree limb falling on the lines, knocking your cable out, or your internet out. We never have to worry about that. They're buried under the ground. Lightning fast speeds up to 5 gigs. Great local service of a company that's had roots in Louisiana for 90 years, 90 years. It's Rev Fiber. REVRevFiber.com for your home or for your business. Make sure you check them out at RevFiber.com. Proud partner of LSU Athletics. RevFiber.com.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, rolling along. Glad you're with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. Yeah, we were just smack dab steamrolling toward football. First preseason game was this past weekend. Tigers had a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, little fall camp availability. Remember, you can always text the show in the 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Grant said, hey, Matt, do you worry at all about Trey'Dez Green having trouble breaking tackles or getting injured from not getting reps where he's tackled during camp? Honestly, Grant, no. Because if I'm being completely honest with you, not that I would lie, but nobody gets tackled. Even in the scrimmages, like a lot of times it's just a thud. Now, sometimes guys get tackled just by extension, right? I mean, you're in full pads, there's a running play between tackles, guys will go to the ground. But in large part, they try to avoid tackling to avoid injuries. So that's not unique to Trey'Dez. But what he's alluding to is the fact that all throughout spring and now, so far through fall camp, Trey'Dez has been a gold no-contact jersey because, as one staff member told me appropriately, we can't lose him. So it's basically just a big gold stop sign to say nobody hit 14. The thing that I have been told by many people who have gotten to watch the team drills and all that sort of stuff is that there have been too many drop passes. That concerns me more than a 6'7", 240-pound guy being able to break tackles. I mean, if Trey'Dez doesn't break a single tackle this year, I don't really care because he's just a pterodactyl. And he's going to run 20 yards downfield. They're going to throw the ball up to him, and as long as he catches it, it's going to be a 20-yard gain whether he breaks a tackle or not. So I'm mostly disinterested in that part of it. I am more concerned with the number of balls that have been hitting the ground that we get to see and the ones we don't that just kind of been told about. So, okay. Do not have Doug yet. We're supposed to have Doug Thompson joining us here. We did report last night, as it was told from the Burtman family, was wanted to get some of the news out so people could be aware about the celebration of life for Skip, who, of course, died on Friday. It will be a week from tomorrow, so it'll be Tuesday at the Maravich Center. I know they're going to have a private event for the family and former players and staff and former coaches. And then the public ceremony will start at 7, with doors opening around 6 p.m. at the PMAC. Doug was going to join us and give us a few more details and particulars. I don't know why. We were literally just texting about this. So I don't know why he's not answering. In any event, all right. It is after further review. A few other texts that were coming in. There was one more I wanted to read. Forgive me. I know I'm trying to find it. Here it was. It was from Matt, who said, Matt, I'd love to know what they're doing to get all the new players ready for the atmosphere in Death Valley at night. Sound and cadence are something that can destroy an unprepared team even at home. I mean, I understand the point. I also think that is something we as fans think way more about than players and coaches think about. So, okay. Or he's just not answering the phone? Okay. I see you on the phone. I didn't know if you were talking to him. Okay. The noise thing, I'm not dismissing the noise thing as a relevant thing. That's obviously a very real thing. We saw Clemson. We saw the video, Dabo, talking about it, and Clemson playing the loud music and all, got their guys ready to come to Tiger Stadium. And yes, that's a real thing. You need to be able to prepare to communicate with noise, and it's certainly at home. But I don't know that that's any different playing a home game or a road game. And like they pipe in music at practice, and they pipe in music in Tiger Stadium whenever they're scrimmaging. So I think that's something we talk a lot about. But there's only so much you can do. You play loud music at practice. You hope it conditions your guys to be able to communicate, learn to communicate when it's loud. So you have a lot of hand signals and all the nonverbal communication as well. Okay. All right, we have Doug Thompson with us now. Hey, Duggar, thanks for a couple of minutes, man. How you doing?
Of course, man. I'm doing good. All things considered, better every day. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Well, condolences, of course, on Skip. I know he meant a great deal to you and to so many people. But I said on Friday, I'm not gonna be sad. I'm gonna celebrate an incredible life lived. And now we're all gonna get to do that with the public memorial coming up a week from Tuesday. I went through just the nuts and bolts. It'll be at the PMAC on Tuesday. Anything else you can tell us, Doug?
Yeah, well, I mean, for the general public, there's, get there at 6 o'clock on the 25th. They're going to show Hold the Rope on the Jumbotrons there in the PMAC. That'll run about 50 minutes, so they invite the public to get there starting at 6 and find a seat. There's no tickets, it'll just be general admission. So, before that, there's an event also at the PMAC that'll be for former players and staff and coaches, of course, everybody that played for Skip actually, and of course coach with them, and then also the family will be there for that, and that'll be a more intimate occasion, downstairs in one of the practice courts, where some of the players will speak, and then eventually we'll all end up upstairs for the celebration that'll be open to the public, where there's obviously some great speakers will be there, including, Verge and Coach Johnson will, of course, say something. Ben McDonald will be part of that, Bill Franquez, of course. But it should be just a remarkable night, and it's something that a lot of people have been working on to build to be, a historic night, honestly, Matt. If there's ever been a reason for our great fan base, one that, by the way, Skip Bertman often acknowledged as the differentiator, and often reminded how much we love them as both LSU players and staff members. It's just suiting up to be a very special night, the way it should be, to honor a legend.
Doug Thompson is with us, former Tiger pitcher. Doug, what has been the response since Friday from? Did we lose Doug? There you go. Sorry, I thought you dropped out, Doug. Sorry, we have you. What's been the response since Friday? Just, I would imagine there's been a tremendous outpouring of former players and coaches and teammates.
Find out.
Okay. All right, we lost Doug. Okay. Apologies for that, y'all. So sometimes technology does not want to cooperate with us. We'll get Doug back here. I think we do have Doug back now. Apologies for the connectivity issues there. So we'll get Doug back here. Just a few more minutes. Wanted to kind of get as much perspective as we can on. Okay. Sorry, Doug. We lost you there, man. I was asking if just kind of like what the response has been from former players. I mean, I would imagine that players of all decades have been reaching out since Friday.
What you would imagine. Every minute of every day, I'm kind of reminded of how much this man really affected people's lives. I mean, it's really truthfully been nonstop. Now, thank goodness, guys are starting to understand when the date's going to be, the 25th, so they can get in town and make sure that they're here. Helping with, other players and the folks at LSU. Dan Gasson and his staff have been incredible. Of course, the girls. It's been incredible to see, first of all, how many people want to help and how much they want to help. But one of the things that's most difficult, Matt, is to try to understand what to expect, right? 350, 400 former players, 500 former players. How many will show up? Of course, their families are invited. How many will they bring? Administrators, staff, faculty, people that Coach Bertman worked with and affected, coaches from around the country, his colleagues, family themselves have several hundred people. It's really, and that's just the people that we know that we can, control to expect. But goodness only knows how our fan base will show up to support this man. I mean, I don't even know that it's debatable that another person has affected our university in the way that Skip Bertman has. I think that maybe there's a discussion about the state of Louisiana in general, maybe never being quite affected by one person as much as Skip Bertman has. So, look, my favorite part about living in this state and being part of that program is the pride that people take in it. And as a former player, I can only tell you how much it would mean to me, the family. But we have a chance to show the rest of the world how we treat our legends. I just can't tell you how much it would mean to see that PMAC bust into the seams.
Yeah. It's been pretty incredible to see already just since Friday, the many different public outpourings. I mean, Doug, like basically every college baseball program in the country has done some type of tribute to Skip, which is worthy and amazing. I mean, the ripple effect of Skip's legacy throughout all of college baseball is just unmistakable. And I agree with you, man. I said on Friday, I think Skip is on the short list of the most influential sports figures. And I'm talking about athletes, but most influential sports figures in the history of the state of Louisiana. Like we can talk about Huey Long building Tiger Stadium, John McKiffin building the Superdome, and what the Superdome is all the different things, the world-class events that have been attracted to the state because of the dome. And I think Tom Benson is the reason that the NFL and the NBA are still in the state. And I think Skip Bertman is in that conversation for what he did as a coach, basically building an economy around baseball, what he did as an athletic director and administrator. Like, I think it's undeniable. I mean, I think he is in that conversation. So I agree with you. I think a week from Tuesday is going to be awesome. Is there anything else people need to know? So there's no RSVP or anything like that? It's just open to the public, come early, because if it's full.
Well, the folks at TAF, I mean, over at LSU, Emily, she has the direct line with, all the former players. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a process there in terms of trying to understand how many former players of Skip's are going to be there, how many former players, period, right? Like, This isn't necessarily just the guys that played for him. This man has affected guys that are in the major leagues right now, have incredible relationships with Skip Bertman. I'll tell you, one of the first people to call me was George Cruz, Dylan Cruz's dad. And the guy, I feel like he just wants to help. And he's down in Orlando, and he just wants to do anything in the world he can to help, because of the impact that Skip Bertman had on his life. I mean, it's just, as you said, Matt, the echo is just unending. And, one of the unusual things is I feel a little guilt every time someone calls me and says, man, I know how much you love Coach and how close you were and all this stuff, because, man, I know how much that person loved him too. And I know how much Coach loved that person, right? Like, everybody's hurting, like everyone. I mean, there's 350, 400 guys that love that man like a grandfather. And I don't think I'm exaggerating like literally there's real love and admiration. And it was proven over 30 to 40 years. I mean, that guy went to more lunches than anyone. Literally. I mean,
no doubt.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things, and all the pictures and memories that are flooding back right now, is when buddies send a picture of him surrounded by his former team, former players, telling stories, because that was truly his heaven on earth. I have been at many, many lunches, I'm blessed to say, that started at 11, and we were there, and they were asking us if we wanted appetizers for dinner, and I wouldn't trade 1 second for not one of them with him. But I'm one of literally hundreds of guys. I'm telling you, every one of those lunches, he would stop at some point and tell us all he appreciated us being there, and brag and say, this is what no one else has. This is what no one else built with their former players. No one will ever have this again. I'm so proud to be able to still be with you guys today, right? Like, he talked about that and the pride he had in that way more than we ever talked about a national championship game or an at-bat in a national championship game. In fact, honestly, Matt, we've rarely talked about baseball. We talked about the times with each other, the impact that he had, the things that he would say, and I'm going to miss that. A lot of guys are. But I told you I didn't want to cry, and I'm not going to cry. But I just wanted to say this event should be a historic event at the PMAC and at LSU because the people of Louisiana love this man, and he's done so much for the state, so many people as individuals, so many groups, so many former coaches are coming in to pay their respects, as everyone should. So just speaking on behalf of 300-400 former brothers that played for Skip Bertman, you want to see a bunch of grown men cry, then show up and pack that PMAC on Tuesday night, and it's going to be one special night.
We're looking forward to honoring him, Doug. Well said as always, and we'll see you on a week from Tuesday, if not before. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, man. Talk to you soon.
Okay, that's Doug Thompson. It's after further review. Well, this sucks. We got an injury update on Saints rookie wide receiver Jordan Tyson, and it is the exact thing that everyone feared the second they drafted him, and we'll talk about it next on AFR.
After further review.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. Big hat tip to my buddy Jareth Knockan. Golly, they've done so awesome. Love watching good people win and succeed in life, and Jareth checks those boxes. And obviously, when you're a business whose business is helping other businesses grow, it should stand to reason that your business grows. Congrats to Glow Resources on the Baton Rouge Business Report Top 100 list again this year, top 100 private companies in Baton Rouge. I think they were up 11% year over year. It's pretty awesome. They help businesses find the right people. So if you're looking to hire, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com. And yes, home base is in Baton Rouge. They got offices all over, and they help businesses quite literally all over the country. So if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All
We're going to move quickly here. We've got Otter Locks coming up. Went a little long with Doug, but I'm okay doing that. Yeah, thank you. You can kill that. So this absolutely sucks. There's no way around it whatsoever. Breaking news from Nick Underhill, Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo. Saints rookie first-round draft pick Jordan Tyson expected to miss about 2 months with that hamstring injury that he suffered during the joint practices with Jacksonville this past week. Yes, 2 months. Look, it's hard for me to be mad at Jordan Tyson. I'm not mad at Jordan Tyson. Like, you don't intentionally get injured, okay? It's not like he did something that caused this injury. I'm just mad at the situation. The fact that you used the 9th overall pick on Jordan Tyson, and now, after having this amazing camp showing off all the explosive playmaking ability you thought and hoped you were getting when you drafted him 9th overall, now you're going to miss him for 2 frigging months. He will very likely start the season on IR, which will free up a roster spot. And we'll talk about in a second what that means maybe for guys down the roster. But the bottom line is, this is the fear that comes with, that we all talked about when you take someone who is injury prone. And yes, he is injury prone. Like, that is a label that is warranted. In 2022 at Colorado is when he had the severe right knee injury. The torn ACL, MCL, PCL, missed the rest of the season. And most of 2023. 2024 at Arizona State, he broke his collarbone. I get it. Football, it's a collision sport. Guys get hurt. That happens. In spring of 25, he had an ankle sprain, missed most of spring. And then during the 2025 season, he had a left hamstring injury that caused him to miss the final stretch of his final season there at Arizona State. And now this is the right hamstring injury. So the point is, like, you can't hand wave it. This is his history. He hasn't, the things I just read to you are facts. He has been an injury-prone player. I'm not telling you there's anything he could or couldn't do to prevent that. I don't know. Sometimes with massively explosive athletes like this, they're more prone to soft tissue injuries. Well, we've seen this now. You're blowing out his knee, breaking his collarbone. Sometimes that just sucks. Cam Jordan has played 15 years in the NFL, has never been hurt. Like, he had an eye thing that cost him to miss a game, which is weird. But, like, Demario Davis missed a game because of COVID, broke his streak. Like, stupid. But, like, this is an injury-prone player. So my hope is, sincerely, he rehabs this thing, he comes back, he's awesome for the rest of the season, and has a great rookie year for whatever he's able to play, and he never gets hurt again. I just don't believe that's the case. This isn't reactionary. It's what it is. He's an injury-prone guy. Use the 9th pick on an injury-prone player. He's going to keep getting injured. I mean, prove me wrong. Hopefully time does prove me wrong. Now, this is a great opportunity for Bub Means. We spent the day kind of talking about guys that had a great preseason opener, and Bub Means was that guy. But I've been asking, like, do you have a spot for a 6th receiver? Because it's Olave and Tyson and Vele, and then Brown and Lance. I mean, that's 5. You don't typically keep 6 receivers unless it's someone's going to help you on special teams, and that ain't Bub Means. Well, if Jordan Tyson's going to miss 2 months, then he's going to start the season on IR. So if he's going to start the season on IR, that means you're going to open up a roster spot for another wide receiver. So you're looking at Olave, Vele, Brown, Lance, and then Bub Means. And all of a sudden, this receiving room, which coming into the year looked like it was going to be awesome. Olave, who had a career year last year. You're talking about Jordan Tyson, the 9th pick of the draft. Vele, who, was big body receiver, played well before he got injured last year. Polk is a former top 50 pick. Jalen Polk, who basically got a red shirt last year that we're all hoping was going to be really good. And then Berrien Brown and Bryce Lance and Bub Means down the line. Well, now all of a sudden, Jalen Polk's retired. Jordan Tyson's injured. And everybody keeps moving up chairs. Bryce Lance didn't play in the preseason opener. I'm not trying to have a melt here. This just sucks. Because the huge thing that we were really excited about for year 2 with Tyler Shuck was that they were surrounding him with weapons to let him elevate. You went and got David Edwards to help fortify the offensive line. You got HN to be able to help get the running game going a little bit, take some pressure off your quarterback, and then you went and supplemented with all these receivers, and you drafted 3 of them, including Tyson with the 9th pick. And now that talent is just eroding for various reasons. So I still think they're better. Your offensive line is better. Your tackles are older. Eric McCoy's back. You brought in David Edwards. Cesar Ruiz is what he is. But you have Oscar Delp. You have Juwan Johnson. You kept Olave. You added Barry Brown and Bryce Lance. But the difference between talking about, Barry Brown as your 5th receiver and now talking about like Bub Means or Kevin Austin, it's a pretty dramatic change. Jordan Tyson, out 2 months. Bah. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. I don't have a good, clever transition. I'm just going to tell you to go buy a Volkswagen at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana, that'll make you feel better. You feel like blah. You know what'll turn your frown upside down? Drive a brand new Volkswagen from South Point Volkswagen. There, I did it. SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Remember, they always got great deals. Like right now, $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas. Yes, I said $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas. Drive away in yours today at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They got the best selection, which means they got the best deals, the best inventory, and the best people. It's at South Point Volkswagen. Check them out, SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Stay here, it's next.
AFR.
All right, the entries are open, y'all. It's the Get Gordon Billboard contest. Opened up today. Up to $2,000 in prizes. There is the adult division and the kids division. Remember, you can win up to $2,000 in prizes, courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And, of course, your billboard could be one of the billboards Gordon puts up around town. So it's super easy. The Gordon McKernan Billboard Design Contest. Go to getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. One more time. Getgordon.com/billboards to get all of the information. You got to submit your entry by September the 20th. So you got a little time. You got about a month to get them in. But, by the way, if you use AI, you could be disqualified. So get creative, but don't use AI. And get Gordon. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas.
provided by River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Y'all, they had a record-breaking Q2, a record-breaking Q1. Let's go ahead and make it a record-breaking Q3 as well, and they're hiring iron workers, pipe fitters, crane operators, all at the Geismar location. You want some of the specs, you can get it, their Facebook page or the website. You go to riverparishcontractors.com, hit the careers tab, riverparishcontractors.com, hit the careers tab. You can see everything they got. They got work on both sides of the river. What that means for you is, like, here's one, Avondale, Brobridge, and Plaquemine. They're hiring rig welders. Get all the info at rpcontractors.com. Call Big Jake. Get all the info at rpcontractors.com. They got work on both sides of the river. So if you're worried about traffic, don't worry about traffic. You can be home with your family every night for dinner when you work with River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com. rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Proud partner of LSU Athletics. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
What's going on, Matthew?
Oh, just watching the Saints rookie draft pick, 9th overall, be out for 2 months with a friggin' hamstring. Stunner. You draft a guy with a friggin' injury history, and he's out for 2 friggin' months with a hamstring. Stunner. Way to go, Mick. Dork. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry I'm not sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry.
No news is good news in training camp, so every day that passes, that's a bad one, though. And that's hard to come back because you never know until you fully exert if that hamstring is fully recovered. So
a guy who missed half of last year with a hamstring injury, with the other hamstring.
Is that right? I knew he's been constantly out.
Yeah.
In and out.
I mean, he blew up his knee when he was at Colorado, but he had an ankle injury and he broke his collarbone. He had an ankle injury last year. It was his left hamstring. Now this is his right hamstring.
Ask Sam Levitt how important he was to him at Arizona State.
Yeah, no doubt.
He'll tell you. I mean, he was definitely a guy we're handicapping Arizona State, whether we wanted to know whether he was in the lineup or not. Let's get to Major League Baseball. I got to admit here, tough card tonight. Just some prices that I'm not comfortable, in some of the favorites. Tampa Bay was way too high, losing 3 in a row to Baltimore. They do have a pitching matchup. That game is 1-1 right now in the third inning. But Philadelphia is my best play, and rarely do I lay the runs with the home team or take the runs with the home team. But that's what we're doing here. Sanchez, third in the NL Cy Young odds right now. And even better, his home and away splits are just unbelievable at home. He gives up nothing in the top of the first. Phillies batting 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the first, and they're going against Junk for Miami. We like to fade Junk. And also, late July, Phillies were swept at Miami, so fresh on their mind. Taking Philly -1.5, -118. I'm not sure what the in-game odds is on that right now.
I just looked at it. It's Philly is it's now -$1.14 on the run line.
I would take that. The team that is chasing the team that Phillies are chasing in the NL East, the Atlanta Braves. They go on the road and take on the Minnesota Twins. Phillies just swept the Twins in Minnesota, and so Atlanta goes there. Perez is it's got some pretty good numbers, but his advanced numbers, he's been not so much, but he's been pitching out of trouble. Why stop now? We're going to take a slight line here. Minnesota is in a nosedive right now. It's more of a fade of Minnesota than a backing of Atlanta, but Atlanta's fully healthy. And Olsen is just so good, man. Acuna's back at the top of the lineup. Short price here for the Braves on the road, -125. And then we had to be creative with a money line parlay and put Kansas City. And Kansas City is $1.70. They don't deserve to be $1.70 over anybody, but Man, Witt has been on fire. We talked about Caglianone. This is a team that we've been backing as of late with these two guys healthy, much more potent in their lineup. And then the Dodgers, after losing 3 of 4 at home to Milwaukee, they go on the road here. Blake Snell, this is his second start back. He was phenomenal in his first start back after the IL. Taking the Dodgers, Kansas City moneyline parlay plus 115. Kansas City playing Oakland, who was anyway had a nice start, but man, the last 2 months have been unbelievable, unbelievably bad for the Oakland A's, the Las Vegas A's, Sacramento A's, the Nomad A's,
the Athletics.
Taking Kansas City, Los Angeles Dodgers moneyline parlay
Right.
is paying plus money at plus 115.
Phillies on the run line, Braves on the money line, and then a money line parlay with the Royals and the Dodgers. Where are you tomorrow?
We are at Dozy Place on Government Street in Mid-City.
Great spot. Good luck tonight. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
All right, it's after further review. That'll do it for us here. Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Thanks to John Stinchcomb, Brooks Austin, Braxton, Paulie. Thanks. Have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, I remind you about our friends over at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know, at Lee Michaels, they like to say we are in the celebration business. If you're celebrating an engagement, Lee Michaels. Maybe a promotion, Lee Michaels. A birthday, some other important milestone, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. These are things that you keep, that you cherish, that you pass down in generations of your family. You know, I love telling you about Lee Michaels because their selection is unmatched. Their customer service, the Lee Michaels experience is authentic and amazing. You'll get it the second you walk through the door. I also love how philanthropic they are. Not only do you get the best diamond, but you're contributing to the community because there's a red box at basically every charity event. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They want her to be thrilled and you to be the hero. So when you're looking for that beautiful piece of jewelry, remember Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers